Texas, the Lone Star State, and for one weekend only, home to the ECS Season 8 finals. Over the course of the next 4 days, 8 of the world's best teams will battle it out for their chance to lift the ECS trophy and claim the lion's share of $500,000. My name is Freya, your host for the duration of this weekend. Of course, I could not do this job alone. Join me, our wonderful set of analysts, Sean Gers and Launders. How are you both doing today?
Shaunders.
Shaunders. I love that.
Yeah.
Shaunders do.
Or Lawn Gers, you know.
Lawn Gers.
If you want to give me the spotlight for a second, Sean. All right. Okay. I didn't get to play on Cloud9. Right. I didn't get to IGL for the most popular team in North America. So I just like a little spotlight on the desk.
We're gonna shame me.
Yeah. Well, you've been having a good morning, gentlemen. We're getting into some incredible games today. So I'm very excited to see all these teams getting up on stage.
Yeah, it's going to be super exciting. We have a stacked event. Top 4 teams in the world all here. So, I mean, I think this is going to be the event we really determine who is the top team in the world going into 2020.
Oh, wow. Okay, it's a big statement, but it makes a lot of sense. Groups are split up. People are complaining about like Astralis having an easier group, but that's what you get when you're number 1, right? When you come out on top. So there'll still be a really good chance for the perfect playoff bracket. I think you mentioned that before. And yeah, there's like 2 more big events towards the end of the season with the Blast Global Finals and then Epicenter to like completely round things off. And this is like the first big stretch for a lot of these teams that have as well taken a break, right? The Liquid, Astralis in particular skipped out on, I think Liquid skipped out on Star Series as well as CAC and IM Beijing.
Yeah, they dropped out of them.
Yeah, so then they have no excuse, and they're coming in to play these teams who have. So that'll be really good.
Exactly, and that's why I think this tournament is, I guess, a little bit more important than the ones coming up, is because we have all these teams coming off of a break, maybe other than like EG, MIBR. But, I mean, I think all these teams should be prepared coming into this. They always should be because they have team rooms now at all the events.
Yeah.
But I think that with the new update gives a lot of interest to this event.
Well, we've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up, and make sure you guys are getting engaged at home. Make sure you're following at ECS on socials and using the hashtag ECS8. We want to know all your thoughts, predictions, and opinions, and we may even feature some of the best ones on stream. But yeah, as we were saying, gentlemen, this really does determine some of the top number 1 team in the world going forward.
Yeah, I think so. I think EG is very hit or miss right now, so I don't really know where to put them. This event, in my opinion, will really solidify where I see them in the top 5. Astralis seems to be the best team in the world, but Liquid hasn't had that chance, take time off practice and show up against Astralis, and this could be the event where that happens.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, the question is, can you be jet-lagged at a North American event if you're EG, right? That's the big question.
Well, we're going to see. And we're going to take a look at our format for this event. So if you guys are missing anything, don't worry. We're going to get you up to speed as we take a look at the teams that competed in the entire online season of ECS. There are some names here, such as Vitality, the champions from last season, who didn't make it here to the finals. Is that a surprise for you, Sean?
I think so, but ever since they added Shocks to the team and NBK, took that step back, rumors that he's going to OG, I haven't really seen a lot out of Vitality. They obviously made that finals run. I can't remember which tournament that was that they made the finals. It was right before
was it Star Series? It was right before Star Series.
It was right before Star Series.
No, New York was EG, Astralis. What was it?
But they have shown glimpses of hope since adding Shocks. I think Shocks has actually been playing well, but it doesn't lack of a better word, it doesn't shock me that they're not in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, and as we can see, the teams that did make it to the live finals here in Texas, we have AVANGAR and Sharks coming in from weeks 1 and 2. This was pretty incredible because this was the money weeks. They had to earn the most money over these 2 weeks to get their spot, and kind of the spicy teams coming through that made it through to this stage. And then obviously we've got NIP and Evil Geniuses week 3, Astralis and Liquid, no surprises, coming in week 4 and week 5. To round off the competition is Fnatic and MIBR. And of course, as you can see on this graphic, they don't just get money for coming here. They got money throughout the online seasons. These guys are making some bank. Yeah,
Sharks was making some bank. I watched them actually, and same with AVANGAR play in week 3 of ECS, and they both played really well. So I think Sharks took out Liquid in that first 1-2 week. So those are the teams you see on the left side of the screen, probably the underdogs coming into this event. Teams on the right side, probably the teams you'd favor, to win the event.
Yeah, potentially. There's so many weird storylines here where it feels like everybody should be peaking right now. Right after the end of the major, you had you have an Astralis show that it's still their era, or they want to bring it back to their era. Sorry, to be the first team in the world to have 2 eras. That's I think maybe Astralis' new goal. And then you had Liquid's unexplained fall off. You have EG, who are hit or miss depending on where they are, I guess. And then even AVANGAR, right? Even AVANGAR in a weird place right now. They kind of feel like an EG in some sense.
Yeah, it's so weird saying even AVANGAR, right? Like major finalists.
Yeah.
And they even won that blast right after the major. It's just like you don't really know where to place AVANGAR right now. Obviously, they have very successful players. Jame puts up huge numbers. I think his style of play is the style of play in the current meta, the way he saves his op. CT is obviously heavily pressured, like economically compared to T-side. So they have a really cool team.
Yeah, that's I like that you said that. It feels like, as the game you progress and you kind of shave down the game to the point of like perfection, you get closer and closer to just kind of trying to get every economic edge you can. And him saving that op every round. He's been quoted, or players have been quoted in interviews talking about how the most annoying part about playing AVANGAR is that there's an op in play every single round, win or lose.
Yeah. Well, as we can see, the first matches up on the screen for Group A. We've got AVANGAR, as we're speaking about, going up against Evil Geniuses, and after that we have NIP versus Team Liquid. But that isn't all we're going to be seeing from Group A. We're going to be seeing the winners playing later on in a best of 3. So we've got some absolutely stacked games coming up today, and Astralis versus Sharks to start off our Group B competition, and then Fnatic versus MIBR. I think the Astralis versus Sharks game is going to be super interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Sharks can bring to LAN, because online they were looking pretty crazy.
Okay, I'd like to see, what's your hot take on the Sharks Astralis game? Any chance for an upset?
I don't know. I mean, I spoke to Exit yesterday, and he seemed really confident. I don't know.
Really?
I just think it kind of reminds me of the Furia Astralis from last season.
Really?
And looking at how sort of overwhelmed Astralis looked, because you had nothing to go off there from Furia, and looking at Sharks now, there's hardly anything to go off there as well. So I'm interested to see how Astralis come into that.
Astralis is going to punch sharks in the nose. Isn't that what you do to a shark when you're in the water?
But you need a spear, right? What if you don't have your
nose.
spear? Like, what if it's too early in the morning and they forgot to bring their spears to land? First
No,
match of the
when
day.
a shark bites you when you're surfing or something, you're supposed to punch him in the nose.
Oh, are you?
In the nose?
Yeah, in the nose.
Interesting. Well, Shark Facts, we're going to have a lot of those coming up this weekend. And of course, you guys can join us here in the Esports Stadium, Arlington. Make sure you head on over to ecs.faceit.com to get your tickets for an amazing weekend of Counter-Strike action. You don't want to miss it, guys, do you?
No, of course not. This tournament's stacked.
Yeah.
Like, what other team could you want here?
Yeah, it's kind of the perfect line in that sense. At a really great time, and again, it's like a peaking thing, and it's like EG have to play well no matter what, or it says so much about them. And then also Liquid boot camping, Astralis boot camp, taking time off. Like, this is the culmination of this kind of fall season.
The Khalil, Falmus meta, fully in play.
Oh, baby.
I know.
We can see the skins here.
Chatterbox is out.
We can see the skins.
Very interesting.
And that we will not see the skins.
Yeah.
So we can see that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
See what I'm saying here?
Okay.
Well, we're going to be heading into our first matchup very shortly. We're going to start talking about AVANGAR, a team that we have sort of briefly mentioned. First of all, how are you kind of feeling about them coming into this tournament?
I really don't know, right? Especially going up against a team like EG. See, when they met at the major at Start Ladder, EG just wiped the floor with them. I think both games, AVANGAR had less than like 8 rounds or something like that. But EG was, at peak performance. They used their players just in aim duels all day, and they were at that level where that would work. I don't know how that's going to work right now, coming off of two back-to-back losses in China, flying all the way back overseas here. Are they going to be in that same form? Probably not. So I think because of that, AVANGAR now stands a chance.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like this would be a tournament where EG come in, and because of their own results in the last few tournaments, they're going to wonder how well they're playing, right? Like, I feel like you're going to learn a lot about yourself in these opening matches to be like, well, how good do we feel right now? Because it seems like no matter how much we try, we can't get a certain level of consistency.
It's weird how much confidence matters when you play Counter-Strike, and losing back-to-back tournaments like that, just small decisions, right? Will Cirque get aggressive on the first gun round as opposed to what he did before losing those 2 tournaments? And that's the difference that's going to happen when you watch EG. Because when I watch EG, they have a phenomenal A game, but their B game is very weak when it comes to when you compare them to teams like Liquid and Astralis.
Well, speaking of AVANGAR, I had a chance to sit down with AdreN yesterday ahead of his match up today. Let's see exactly what he had to say.
When I entered the team and we played at the major, the feeling was like, oh, I'm playing the Krakow major we won, and the energy was inside the team. Like I felt it in 2017. So I think I felt it, and the guys felt that something special is going on inside our game. So yeah, that was a great feeling. So facing the Astralis was hard because we knew that they're #1 team. For sure, yeah, we had Liquid, they had a great season, but overall we thought like Astralis is this kind of team that everyone is looking for. We knew that they bring like 3 majors, and they want to go for the 4th, and they're playing against us that we don't have much experience in the finals. So it was hard. It was a hard task for us, but I'm happy that we played against them in the finals and we have more experience. I think our strong part was we believed that we can do it. So this is the main part. We didn't have a great game or something. We didn't have a special game style. We just believed in ourselves that we can do it, and we just trusted each other. So that worked.
Well, it's great to hear from AdreN there. Obviously talking a lot about their major run, which was an upset, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, I mean, the teams they took out on that major run were insane. They actually beat Liquid, I think, on Overpass in group stages, and then they clearly had the easier side of the bracket. But don't get me wrong, you have to win those matches, and for a team like AVANGAR to show up into the major finals and then prove that it wasn't a fluke and win the following Blast event, that caught the entire scene by surprise.
Yeah, they could have lost and no one would have batted an eyelash. So it was very impressive that they were able to keep it up. I think there's a few things that tie back into what you're saying about confidence in particular, where it's like, you know, even AdreN said that they didn't feel like they were especially better than anyone else, but they did feel like they didn't believe they were worse either. They had the confidence going into every one of their matchups, and he said that was a big factor in why they got to the finals. They just believed they could win. And I know, like in my crappy main teams that I've ever played, there were tons of teams that I didn't feel like I could beat. So it must be a really good feeling to be on a team that at any level, whether it's a tier 1, top 10, you feel like you're going to be able to win the match on any given
100%. You could beat him in a KZ or Surf map, though.
That I'll take him down, like 100%. No problem. But I didn't want to bring that up. But
yeah, true.
It's true. I mean, it would.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things I saw AdreN saying was obviously the comparison to the PGL Krakow stage when he was like, he walked out into the Berlin Arena, he was like, wait, I think I've seen this before somewhere. And it's obviously where he lifted that trophy with Gambit.
Yeah. I mean, AdreN is obviously, he's been here before. He's been here for a long time, since 1.6. He's such a legend in the game. And I think he's the calming presence in this team. They have so many young players. He took that role that Fitch had, in my opinion. Fitch was pretty young for that role, and now AdreN has stepped into that. He was the star player in that Gambit squad. In this team, he's clearly not that player, right? They have James, Buster, Kicker. Those are all players that are putting up monster numbers when you watch AVANGAR play. AdreN takes that back seat and kind of plays a supportive role.
Yeah, there is Kicker, openly on Twitter expressing, like, he even called one of the matches they lost like a throw. Because he was just like, I can't believe we just threw that game because of just, I guess, how badly they played. So there's kind of open frustration in the AVANGAR camp right now just about their recent results. And that's also good to see that they expect more of themselves after Moscow, because you can't end there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the people they're going to be facing up against are Evil Geniuses. We've been talking about them a little bit. What are your kind of thoughts for them coming into this, Launders?
Evil Geniuses are in such a strange place where they're top 2 in the world, by ranking. These last 2 tournaments being maybe not as big as some of the other ones kind of changes that up. At Star Series, they had a few good wins, but they also, they got through by beating, I think they beat Vitality, and that was the best team that they played against, or they might have not even played them and beat like 5Power and a few other lineups. But it wasn't like they didn't beat Astralis, they didn't beat Liquid. I wouldn't say it was easy. It's a long, proper tournament, all best of 3s and everything like that. But it's not the end-all be-all result for them. So yeah, it's a weird spot for EG.
I think when you look at EG, it really doesn't matter that they're inconsistent right now, and that sounds crazy, right? I've never said that about any team, but their players are so incredibly young. Cirque, Breezy, Ethan. I mean, even Stanislaus, the in-game leader, is only 25 years old. This team's going to be here for years. I mean, as long as there's not some inner turmoil going on in the team. Even I'm a pet their coach, is like 22 years old or something like that. Like, they're younger than any other team. So I'm not worried with the inconsistency. The fact that they've shown they can dominate Astralis, they can hang with Liquid. They haven't really played Liquid very much lately, so I'm really excited about this group to see them go up against Liquid. But they've beaten pretty much all of the top teams in the last couple months.
Ethan has gotten like to a level of form that we've just never seen him at. He's just so amazing right now. And I think maybe unfortunately for Breeze specifically, he's had a rough last few events. I think the first time that he's kind of been negative in the last year or so. So I think that might be a big, I mean, you can't lose a player like that or have a player like that drop off and maintain number 2. So that also could be a factor. Because an individual thing, I almost feel a bit better because at least it's not the structural stuff or the outside factors or just the team chemistry that's a big problem. It's just, you know, maybe missing a few too many shots. But that's going to be another thing is like Bree's going to be able to pick it up for this tournament.
Yeah. I think that's what the thing to take away from EG is, right? Once they add that structural element to the game, Stanislaus only been in this team for, 4 or so months, 5 months. So once they add that further foundation and they stop traveling so much, probably during this player break and into 2020, they're definitely going to stay in the top 3 for the majority of 2020.
Yeah, exactly. And we're going to take a look at one player from each team in our head-to-head. It's going to be Ethan versus Buster. Two very interesting players to compare. Obviously, you can see their stats from the past 2 months of games over on HLTV. What do you kind of make of these two players going together?
He looks like CIS Ethan. That's like pretty awesome right away. I mean, that's the first thought. Yeah, stats-wise, in terms of this is just overall on their maps. Ethan, having 4 ADR over 80 maps is like it does make a big difference. I think that's when you're in that exceptional ADR range. Yeah. But Buster's way up there. Role-wise, Buster's lurking on a few maps still. He kind of pulls off these hard, like amazing flanks, almost like in a style that Flesha would. Whereas Ethan can sometimes come out and be that like 3 entry win the round player.
Yeah, I feel like when I watch Ethan play, when I played against Ethan, actually when I was playing, he's one of the most annoying players to play against. His jiggle peaks and the way he clears angles are some of the best in all of North America. He's very good at cautiously clearing angles and making sure he doesn't get caught off guard at any point in the round. And Buster, on the other hand, I watch him play and he's passive towards the B side on, say, like Dust 2, but then when you watch him on Overpass, he'll constantly be peeking the sandbags, playing super aggressive, so he has a very dynamic playstyle.
Yeah, is there anybody over on the AVANGAR side that you're also going to have your eye on as a player?
Ooh, I don't know. Probably Jaime.
Yeah. Because, some people are just, the way they look at Jaime. I think I was talking to Automatic, the other day, and he would just reference Jaime as just, the player to watch on certain maps right now because it's, as you said, it's, the prevalent style just to focus on every single edge when it comes to the economy, the way that he's, so careful all the time, the way that his teammates protect him, play around him, and the way that he just, carries the op forward just for another opportunity, whether it's only 1 or 2, but to maintain that into every single round. And the thing is, it's not just about being able to hit the op shot on the round. It's about having an op so the team you're playing against plays differently.
Yeah, and the reason why that's so important, especially after the last update, right? If the T's plant the bomb on pistol and lose, they can buy Galils every round for the rest of the game, right? So if you're not saving your AWPs, saving your rifles, you're not going to have strong buys throughout the entire match. So someone like Jaime is getting constant opportunities into these buy rounds.
Yeah, I think that's interesting you bring that up because this is one of the first tournaments we're going to be seeing on this new update. Do you think that's going to make kind of a difference to some of these teams?
I don't know. I
do have a problem with the economy. We were talking about this. Yeah. So I actually like that we've moved towards a point where best of ones have become kind of more bolstered in the sense that, I think there's a point where the conversation was like, oh, it's best of 1, doesn't matter, best of 3 only matters. So now, less importance on the pistol, less importance on the economy in general means that the better team is going to win more rounds in a map, and more of those rounds are going to be gun rounds or whatever. And then I just lost my point. Where was I going with that?
Less variance in best of ones, basically.
Yeah.
Winning pistol probably doesn't give you 3 rounds. Winning first gun round doesn't give you 2 more.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. In the previous economy within the game, you'd find yourself snowballed into like a 6-0 and you've only had two rounds really where you've had a chance to prove yourself. So that has been eliminated. The problem is now is that it feels like every round is the same, and it feels like when you win a 1-on-3, you just win one round instead of winning 3 rounds.
Yeah.
So the gravity of winning that 1-on-3 is a lot less in the current meta, I guess.
Yeah. So I was just going to say that with the further change with the Galils not only getting buffed, but then the price coming down, that makes things a little bit worse, right? Because now it's just like those cheaper rounds can be filled out completely with a Galil. Like you can feel very comfortable. Like I played one matchmaking game on Nuke, and I was like jumping silo and killing people back big garage with one bullet with a Galil, which normally when you spray it, it's like a pepperoni pizza. Like you don't know where the pepperoni's going to land. It's going to hit the pizza, right? That's what the spray pattern of the Galil was. Now it's an actual like laser beam. Pepperoni pizza, pop it down.
Papa John?
Well, we're going to head into our map Veto to see exactly what map we're going to be playing on this first game of the day. What are you guys expecting from this Veto?
Oh my goodness, I don't even know actually. I have no idea where this is going to end up. We saw them play Dust 2 at the major. It could end up there. You know, a map like Mirage probably isn't going to end up getting played here. I don't know. It really depends on what EG wants to play, in my opinion, because EG can play every single map.
Yeah, I think they both would. You know, Dust 2 is maybe the most likely, but then also I think AVANGAR might ban it. Nuke is out. I think there's a chance it lands on Inferno somehow, just in terms of how much they've been playing because of a kind of so much overlap in their veto. But we'll soon see. Train gets banned, so that was another kind of top pick, I think, between the two teams. That's not on the table anymore. So this is them evil geniuses just deciding where they wanted to go, and AVANGAR takes out Inferno. So it looks like Dust 2 is still on the...
I think EG is going to ban Overpass here, and we're probably going to end up on Dust 2.
There we go. This is pretty much their choice. Kind of an interesting veto. Could have landed in about 4 places, it feels like.
Yeah, it really was whatever EG wanted, in my opinion, because AVANGAR had to ban Nuke.
They have to get
Vertigo.
Yeah,
and then EG had to ban Vertigo. And then here, I think EG controlled the entire veto, and they understood that this veto process was going to go down to Dust 2 or Overpass.
There it is. There it is. Hold it. Block it up. That's it. Pack it up. We got Dust 2. I think this is, of any of the matches that we could see and so far today, this would be like the upset that's brewing, I think, you know.
I think so.
Both teams are like almost the exact same way right now, where I feel like they don't know how good they are at the moment or where they'll land when the tournament starts. Plus, it's the morning match on the first day of a tournament. So I think, and it's a best of one. I think there's a chance for an upset here.
It's cold outside, you know, everyone's a little
stiff.
It's
chilly.
It is chilly, considering it's Texas. Like, I thought it was going to be really hot here. Nope,
true.
Very cold. But just speaking of AVANGAR, obviously we're sort of drawing comparisons to their sort of form compared to EG, because we saw them obviously in the second place in the major, then first place at Blast, and then that's kind of been it. Sort of middle of the pack results since then. Are you guys expecting them to come out with some surprise plays?
I don't expect AVANGAR to have surprise plays. They've never surprised me really with their plays. They have very strong fundamentals
and really good mid-rounding.
Exactly, really good mid-rounding. So they're able to move around the map very well in those 3-on-3s, choose the right bomb sites to hit. And their executes on Dust 2 have always been strong. The way EG destroyed them at the major on Dust 2 was just playing passive, and Cirque just teed off on them. No other team was able to do that to AVANGAR at the major. So I don't know how EG was able to do it so successfully. It'll be interesting to see if they can do it again, because it seemed very deceiving.
Yeah, I think the primary thing from the AVANGAR perspective is how much kind of value James gets out of the op on Dust 2, because there's so much action on Dust 2. It's a map defined by the fact that you get into the action within like 2 seconds of the round crossing mid, and then James on T side, you know, he's buying guns for the first minute of the round, and then he's at top mid for the rest of it, working his way out middle slowly. Eventually someone peeks him, and he's so patient that he always finds chances. It's one of the easiest maps to op on T side.
Well, we're going to be getting into our predictions, but I think we should get our casters up in here. James and Dan, can you hear me?
Up in here? Okay,
yes.
DMX. Yeah, I can hear you.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Now, you know what? I went shooting the other day, right? And I shot a CZ-75. But when I was leaving the shooting range, a guy in there recognized me, and he's like, I didn't see how tall you are. But now they can see the scale because I'm actually standing up. So it's not just the head size scale, but it's just the overall scale as well.
Well, what are you guys thinking for this matchup? Who are you going to be siding with?
What about you, Dan?
I want to say AVANGAR because I think I'm a little bit of a fan of AVANGAR. I think both teams are great Dust 2 teams, but there's something about AVANGAR whereby they've been working really, really hard. They're running on fumes right now, but they've been able to perform still. We've seen them recently in China, so I reckon they can do it.
Yeah, for me, I'm a huge AVANGAR fanboy as well. I was hoping Dan would go the other way, so it was kind of fairer. But I love me some AVANGAR. They didn't have Sanji in China for the most part. But looking at the stats, they're about 60% on Dust 2, and EG are about 78%. But I think the matchup is good. I think both of the teams are not in their best form at the moment. They've had mixed results. I think there's a chance, and I would like to see it because I just love me some AVANGAR.
Wow, very exciting indeed. Launders, I'm going to come to you next. Who are you predicting for this match?
Well, I'm just going to pretend like I didn't see these because I assumed there would be some EG picks, but I'm going to pick AVANGAR as well. I think upset's brewing.
Damn.
Very exciting. Sean?
What about the white people?
I'm going to go ahead and say y'all are crazy
right
now. I mean, the y'all in Texas. I'm going EG here. I think they're going to prove they are, a solid top 3 team in the world. I think this is an easy win for them.
Yeah, I think I'm also going to side with EG as well. I'm going to make the scoreboard look very pretty there. Very satisfying.
Yeah.
Thank you guys very much for joining us. We'll be coming back to you very shortly for our first matchup of the day. But yeah, just talking a little bit more about these two teams. Obviously, we mentioned Breezy earlier. He was MVP of ESL New York, the first tournament they won under Evil Geniuses. But you're saying that he kind of hasn't shown up recently. What do you kind of make of him coming into
I think
this?
it's like his last 3 tournaments, he's had like a negative rating. So it's just been recently. It's just not played so well. It's going to happen to the best of us. As you mentioned, you've got such young players on the team. They're just going to be around for a point where these stats for the last couple of months won't matter at all. Just right now, I'm curious. Like, is it gonna play a factor? Because he is like the guy they rely on a lot.
I definitely think young players need to play a lot, right? They don't have that experience to fall back on, and someone like Breezy will struggle because of the fact that EG is just constantly traveling from tournament to tournament, and he doesn't have that time to grind in FPL and make sure his aim is on point, make sure his peaks are on point, his timings are on point. He falls a little bit out of his groove, and that's why we've probably seen him struggle a little bit. Hopefully he can come back into form here.
I have a question for Sean.
Sure.
Do you have an opinion on, like, with so much parity in the top 5, top 10? Do you think, like, for the last couple of months it was because of the Creek? Like, that was do you think that was a defining factor, or do you think it was more on the teams to just figure that out?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the Krieg definitely played a part. I think the economy plays a part because teams aren't getting burned for their mistakes as much, which is why I have a problem a little bit with the economy. Is Astralis dominated with the old economy because they could punish teams for their mistakes, whereas now teams are able to make those 2 and 3 mistakes and still get away with wins just on individual skill. And that's why we've seen teams like EG and Liquid rise to prominence in the last year, because they can make those couple mistakes and still beat teams like Astralis.
Well, we're going to take a look at our Pinnacle fan poll to see exactly where you guys at home are siding with. I'm very excited to see exactly what this is, because I'm thinking about time zones. Obviously, Europe going to be well awake by now. Maybe some of the NA guys might not be as awake, but yeah, we'll get that up as soon as it's ready, because I think it's really great to see exactly where people are siding. EG 86%. That's more than I thought. That's actually way more than I thought. I thought we'd have a few more.
That's disrespectful.
Yeah, it does. I think it is true that maybe just without in like a map agnostic sense, like maybe this would be a little bit closer. And then the irony is that as strong as AVANGAR in particular are on Dust 2, EG are just even better, and then versus them as well. So I can understand why, but I mean, I think in my head this is like a 60-40 for EG, but like a really good chance of an upset.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at our Pinnacle odds as well to see where the market is lying. Because I think, it's going to heavily favour EG there. Do you think obviously we've been talking about maps just to, James obviously said it kind of more favours AVANGAR in his opinion. Are you kind of agreeing with that or not so?
I think it's the best chance for AVANGAR to upset EG, right? Because in Dust 2 T-side, you get map control for free. And it's very difficult for CTs to contest Catwalk. It's very difficult for them to contest Long A if the Ts have good spawns. And we've seen Ts do B rushes and mid B splits for years now, right? So when it comes to that, I think AVANGAR stands a chance, because no matter what, if you just do the fundamentals correctly, which AVANGAR does so well, they're probably going to walk away with 8 T rounds minimum.
So they could have a good half plus pistol type of thing. Do you think how much of that do you think is random? Like, you're talking about getting map control for free. There's not many other maps where you can do that. Like on Overpass, you get CT side map control for free and stuff like that. But that's to a point. You still have to hold on. But like Dust 2 is like so spawn based that like at the top level, sometimes it does make sense. If you have 4 guys just like on the cusp of a long spawn, it just makes sense to do it that round, no matter what you had planned. How much of that is random? How much of that is important?
I think a lot of Dust 2 is random, and I think that's why it's a huge problem in having it as your pick, right? I mean, we saw at Star Series, Stanislav got picked 3 times in a row crossing mid. They still won the map somehow against Fnatic, but stuff like that can happen. CTs have to use a smoke to cross mid at the start of the round, so they're already down a smoke range. What other map is like that, right? So AVANGAR's slow play style, it benefits them on Dust 2 because the CTs will have much less utility on other maps. They don't need to force out that utility.
Yeah, exactly. We want to give a big shout out to Series, one of the sponsors for ECS. Make sure you guys go and check out all that awesome gaming gear. But we're going to be getting into this matchup very soon. Are there any final thoughts you want to kind of pick up for this first matchup of ECS?
We're not going to see the new skins. We are going to see the Galil and Famas update, which is going to be really cool. I can't wait to see if teams are buying it second gun round and just, you know, upsetting the team that won the pistol. More of the same basically from the Krieg meta. That's what I want to look out for. I want to see how the meta shifts with this massive update.
Yeah. I think the Galil buff would have been good enough, but now bringing it down an extra $200. Like, I don't like to call things early, but it just feels like the Galil's attractive at $2,000 with that buff. But now it's cheap and it's
showing a little ankle.
It's really nice, yeah. I mean, I'm just getting a peek and I'm enjoying it. What can I say? But sometimes better to cover up the ankle. What's that?
What skin do you like on it? The Chatterbox?
The Chatterbox, yeah. My boy Ego Death made that one actually.
Oh, really? That was like one of the first reds I ever opened.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is great.
And so I don't know anything about guns, but like
skin.
that thing that moves every time you shoot.
Did he do that on purpose?
Yeah. So it's like has a teeth. It has a teeth
clever.
and then it pulls back and then it goes and it's chatter. Yeah, it's cool.
Well, speaking of the skins, have you guys played any of the new Operation? Anything yet?
We are not. We're not doctors, and we are not operating.
Yeah, I was gonna be Mohan with a mohawk and buy a character. So I think I bought a couple of the skins, but I don't use them.
Yeah.
But I played it just to see what the Galil was all about.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely on that Galil life.
Yeah, exactly. So you're expecting to see more of that coming into these games?
I think this is gonna be a defining factor in these games.
I agree.
It's gonna be annoying, I think, at points almost. But at the same time, you know, you're just going to have more rounds where people are going to have full buys, basically.
Yeah. If I see a Galil on like round 8, both teams full buying, I'm gonna be so triggered.
If I don't, I'm gonna be triggered. I better see some Galils round 8.
So do you think that's going to be more heavily in the favor of either of these sides? I'm just trying to think of like how they're playing and their sort of game styles. Do you think it's going to impact either of the teams?
Well, here's the thing. With the T side, you had the Krieg made things bad enough for the CTs, but then the double-edged sword was that if you gave up the Kriegs to the CTs, it's better on the CT side, so suddenly it became like really good for the CT. So is that something that balances itself out? You know, the fact that those guns can be recovered if the other team, you know, wins like a kind of like an unfavorable round in the future. But then with the Galil, it's so cheap that even if you lose the round, you can keep buying it, right? So does the T side just get to a point right now where there's just no stopping them, where T side is going to define everything?
We just did a Counter-Strike segment mentioning only the Galil, Famas, and Krieg. What is this year?
What
world are we in?
Yeah, the guys obviously just getting ready, getting warmed up. Ready to get into our first matchup of ECS Season 8. We've had a pretty awesome online season as well. There's been a lot of upsets, but still, as we were saying, obviously the top 4 teams coming into this. I think it's, as we were saying, a pretty stacked lineup, considering all the teams that could have made it here.
Definitely stacked, right? I didn't expect to see all of these top teams make it when it comes to like online cups and having to qualify through. It just goes to show, you know, the cream of the crop rises in CS. No matter what, right? If it's online or LAN, you know, those top 10 teams are still heavily favored right now, even in the current meta, which is really cool to see.
Now, Frey, we were talking about how you knew that Sharks were for sure going to win against Astralis later today. Do you have any more thoughts on that?
Yeah. I just see them so much like Furia from last season. Obviously, they came to the Pinnacle Cup. Furia managed to get to the grand final. They didn't win, but they still put up such a solid fight. They took down Astralis not just in a best of 1, in a best of 3 as well. They looked so good. I remember that that really nutty shot from Keitarato when he was on silo.
Oh,
When he fell down, and I for sure
Oh, he thought he was
gonna die.
Yeah.
You could just see like the team's reaction. They were going absolutely nuts, but kind of
Shades of Furia.
Yeah. That's what I'm kind of thinking. I don't know. I like Sharks. I like the guys from there. They're very
great,
humble.
Yeah. And everybody should go watch Mayron's USP clip. It's like an aim deathmatch for the USP. And you just to be able to appreciate just like how good and clean his flicks are and his like crosshair placement and stuff. But that's on his Twitter. Nacho Mayor is his Twitter.
Nacho Mayor. Very nice. Are there any other teams that you guys are looking forward to seeing over the course of this weekend?
Fnatic?
I want to see Liquid and Astralis. I think Liquid can get a little grimy in the current meta. I think that these updates with the Galil and Famas hurts Astralis in my opinion, because I don't believe they like those dirty buys and forcing without utility. I think teams like EG, Liquid, AVANGAR, they're going to continue to benefit from these changes that Valve is introducing into the game. So I want to see how a team like Astralis, who uses utility so well, shows up.
Well, listen, now you can get utility and the best gun in the game for $3,700. So.
Yeah, you can definitely. It's so insane, man.
So maybe. I mean, they can get like that whole utility kit and then also have a very decent gun.
Who needs an offer when you got a Krieger?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, is there anybody else you kind of want to pick up on as your maybe the star match of today? Which match are you most looking forward to seeing?
That is
Probably
a good question.
Actually, is it NIP Liquid?
NIP Liquid, yes.
Liquid,
Yeah,
yeah.
second game.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's
I think
the
so.
one.
Do you think that's banger with upset potential too?
I would have said so before all of these weird rumors.
Are you mostly watching? You're like mostly excited because you want to know like Liquid coming out of boot camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Liquid seems very confident coming out of boot camp. I'm going to say that. So I want to see if that confidence is has some grounds to it. I want to see if they can actually show up. I know their map pool is deep. I want to see if they've added stuff on Vertigo, this new Vertigo. I don't think I've seen many matches on this new Vertigo.
No.
Yeah.
So
I actually want to pick your brain on this. Why did they? What happened? Like after the major,
everyone enjoyed Vertigo. I was like, okay, this is like all right.
No, not just Vertigo.
Yeah.
But just with Liquid.
Oh.
Yeah. Like what happened? Where did the Liquid era end? And when did the Astralis era just pick up again?
Yeah.
What happened? Malmo, the major, New York, they lost to Astralis 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
What happened? Why did they start losing? I never was able to put my finger on it.
I think it's just really hard for a team like Liquid when you look at their personalities when things aren't going well, and there's just no time to correct those issues, no time to take a breather out of the game, to get everyone's emotional states high, that confidence that we were talking about back up high. They never had time to reset. It was just one tournament to the next, and now they finally had that time. They boot camped. You see them walk around the hotel. They're refreshed. They're laughing. They're talking to each other, and we didn't see that for several tournaments in a row.
Yeah. Well, we are just about ready to get into our first matchup of the day. We're going to be heading over to James and Dan in the casting studio.
Thank you very much, Threya. Yes, this is going to be a really interesting game, James. I actually, after we made the predictions, I just remembered, I had a flashback to the major when AVANGAR played Evil Geniuses, and up until that point, they looked pretty much indomitable on Dust 2, but then Evil Geniuses kind of smashed them, because Evil Geniuses kind of personify that individual style, which can kind of break AVANGAR, because they can get those picks before they can really get set up, and that seemed to really be impactful.
Yeah, they were talking about that on the desk, and I do think that EG are a solid favourite, but I'm just a huge fan of AVANGAR, man. I mean, we've seen so many interesting things from them, and how to utilize players like Sanji. I can never stop talking about it. So these are like really stimulating to me, and of course, people like Cirque as well are fantastic to watch. Actually, these are two teams where I think we pick up a lot of the players in. Some recent matches I was talking about, I want to say it was Mouse Sports versus EG, and for me, my picks, if you were to watch a demo, for example, would have been Rops and Ethan, and I think that worked out really well for that particular matchup. So, of course, there's lots to shout about for both squads, but I think a lot of people are playing Dust 2 at the moment, or at least like a heavy part of their executes are things that AVANGAR are doing. So I think you gotta put some respect on their name.
Yeah, for sure. I think they're a team that's are really putting in the hard work. I think it's just so clear to see, and it's one of the reasons why I think people are fans of them, because as you say, like each of the players on their team are very, once you get to know them a little bit, you can really see how the styles separate player to player and then how all those styles come together to make this really effective unit. And on this map, you know, I feel like that they, for me, do still have the edge to some degree. I think with the changes, it does make Dust 2 a little bit more interesting because, again, just that full Galil buy with utility is an interesting possibility. I feel like a team like AVANGAR probably would favor that on a second round buy instead of, you know, getting the Kriegs out and so on. And they're also a team that loves those hero buys too. So there's a lot of interesting talking points going into this. But one other talking point is that EG, we don't know really where they are, you know, from a consistency perspective. Sometimes they kind of bomb out the groups. So we'll have to see, you know, what EG we're getting this tournament.
Absolutely. Consider them having a huddle just before this starts. We've had a lot of eyes on Breeze as well recently because I think it was some HLTV articles in the preview of the ECS tournament saying that if you look at the statistics, it would suggest that EG needed good performance from Breeze to be successful. And of course, the Krieg is still the same. I think the value proposition hasn't particularly changed that much outside of the second round. And of course, it is still possible. It's like harder to pick it up now, but I don't think it's impossible. So it's going to be important. There'll be a big focus on how he will be doing. I think that will be my pick based on the storylines coming into this match. On the EG side of things, Breeze will be the one to watch for them. But yeah, it is interesting with the Galil and the FAMAS. I had a quick chat with Jordan Nothing Gilboff about a week ago or so about the FAMAS, which he had a little poke around with, but it was still a little early. But maybe we'll see something now. Of course, some of these teams have been on the road. So in the approach to the tournament, we had a chat with all the teams that were coming here to, like, in terms of which patch to use and so on, as well as the player org. 6 of the 8 teams were in favor of using the latest patch, including AVANGAR, who were on the road and wouldn't have time to practice it, which I respect. That's pretty cool. The changes aren't too dramatic though. There have been other patches with like more significant stuff, but mainly it's, you know, I think the big focus is on the price change, which again I don't think changes the value proposition that much.
Yeah, just I think we could see so much exciting stuff with the changes to the FAMAS and the Galil this tournament. The usage statistics of those weapons that Stay in Pit like to tweet about after an event. I'm really looking forward to seeing what those stats will be. But yeah, one thing to mention that you glossed over was just both of these teams have come from China, so it's not as though one of them has you know, particularly bigger or smaller advantage or disadvantage over one another in terms of the jet lag and the travel you know, fatigue. So that's also something that's good to know. I think you know, it is early in the morning here as well. So I think, you know, we may have a slower start to some of these performances, but in a best of one, you don't get the opportunity to have a slow start. So we'll have to see, you know, who has the edge in that sense in this series.
I play better in the morning. My peak is 2 p.m. Then it's time to sleep. With the odd window here or there, subject to caffeine. I wonder if this is like. If this is purposeful. This is a really long... They're just making AVANGAR sit there, basically. That's how I feel about it at this point, because the match was due to start, I think, 6 minutes ago. I mean, EG are just having a team huddle when AVANGAR are just... I mean, there's pros and cons, right? Because AVANGAR like sitting around, but it is the beginning of the day, so it's better than the end of the day doing that. But AVANGAR are the ones who are warming up and maybe coming into the server a little sharper. I
mean, it could be the case that the players, it was, you know, prioritized for the players to rest, and then, you know, you know, the coach is just doing all the prep, and it's just sort of going over some of those extra details that perhaps they decided. It's just you know, speculative, but it did seem to be the case that they were actually going over some game plan stuff there. So we'll have to see exactly what game plan they're bringing in against AVANGAR. AVANGAR are a team that, you know, as you said, James, many people are kind of copycatting, you know, various ways that AVANGAR run their defaults and so on. So they're a very well-studied team. So I'm very much looking forward to, in that sense, how EG will deal with what is quite a structured but monstrous team. And I would say EG characteristically aren't even. That's not really what you would think about in terms of their Dust 2 strength. They're really all about the individuals.
Yeah, I think like. With the new prices of the FAMAS and the Galil, I want to see what Sanji is rocking like 3 months from now. Because if you look at like an Inferno on the T side, you'll see... I think we saw, like, we might see like a Mouse Sports do a burst play top mid, right, with 2 players going through a smoke. But Sanji will be running out a boiler. He'll be flying out a boiler with the Mach 10, which of course has some movement advantages, the faster move speed and so on. But I'm really curious how this will change the meta, the FAMAS and the Galil. I haven't been able to play CS since before I went to China, so I am so triggered right now. Obviously, with the Danger Zone updates as well, like Danger Zone, any of you watching my stream know I love me some Danger Zone. I don't even know what price the scat was changed to. There's so much to be done.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I got to play like one actual game, and it did feel, the Galil, it does feel like significantly better. The thing is that the Galil was already pretty good. I think it's going to be one of those cases, James, where, you know, much like the Org and then the Krieg, when people sort of were kind of forced in some respect because an update comes out and it's like, actually, you know, look how good this gun is. People actually explore the possibilities with it. Because for the price range, indeed, it does create a bunch of interesting positions. Like, why would you buy, let's say, an MP7 now, for example? It was already hard enough to justify the MP7 over how good people have become with a Mac 10 and MP9, which do a similar job. So yeah, there's this there's a price range now where I feel like there's almost no reason not to buy in lots of rounds previously where it wouldn't have made sense to buy. So we could really see if this kind of update, if this persists, we could see some teams really taking more advantage of that than others.
I think we're about to get into it. I see the knives are out. Do you know what? Since I went to China, I bought 2 knives. I haven't even been able to use them.
Even I bought a knife.
Yeah,
even me.
I've triggered Dan into picking up some skins, which is fantastic.
Yes.
Okay.
Got those Moto polygons with the Tiger 2 flip knife.
Those are like Ninja Turtle gloves, right? With the big lumpy things on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a great conversation about skins in general. Did you see those Halo stickers that came out?
I did, yeah. They look cool.
Yeah. Hager made me, well, she kind of demanded that I put the Mr. Chief on the Wildfire, which doesn't even fit on the head. It's like covers half the head, so it's proper derp. But since it's like an MS Paint sticker, maybe that works out anyway. So we'll see. But again, it's going to be like, when I go back to London, I'm going to be able to play, most likely. I'm so sad. I'm really sad. It's genuinely made me sad. Yeah. All this stuff came out. But I did manage, like with the missions on the campaign, there are a certain amount of stars you have to get by grinding, i.e. not buying them, to be able to get like the diamond coin at the end of it.
Yeah.
So last week there were 10 stars which I managed to get on Wi-Fi in a hotel with a menu as a mouse pad. But now there are like 6 more I need to get this week. I don't know how hard that's going to be, but I will find a way.
Yeah. I'm almost level 9, James. I need a couple wins and I'm there.
Good for you, Dan. Yeah, I'm nowhere close to that right now. I think I'm level 4 at the moment. I was close to level 5, but then, you know, you start to
at the beginning of the season, I think you were like 2 or something. That seemed like a pretty
solo queue life, man.
A new low point.
It's not easy. It's not easy, but we've escaped for now, so we'll see how long I can keep it up for.
Okay, well, I think we are going to be going into the game very shortly.
Yeah, they're just reconnecting, and then we'll be good to go. We're almost there with the first game.
I got to say, James, it's hard also not to be a fan of talking about AVANGAR and in general. I think James as a star player, I think he's as an AWPer. This is, I think, one of the things that I love the most about AWPers at the most elite level. They all have their own specific identity, and it's very clear. It's like a very clear thing. The way that James plays and the way that he gets value out of maps and his style of play. Obviously, it came under criticism right before they started having immense success. And then it quickly became the point of, well, he's actually just a sick AWPer. But it seemed to be the case that the criticism came out of maybe a lack of balance from AVANGAR in terms of the way that they view him and the economy. Because him having an AWP as much as possible, as much of the time as possible, that's the style. That's how they play the game. And the whole system is built around James having an AWP. And when he has an AWP, he does wreck fools. So it is, I think, at this point, very justified.
So when... have you picked any of the characters, the new characters yet?
I think I picked a couple. You
picked the black guys, right?
I don't know which I picked because I've only played it like once. I think I picked like a week ago in China.
So the top level characters have like massive voice packs, right?
Oh, cool.
The ones which are lower levels don't have the top level, because I want to pick a British guy. For the CTs, it's just the SAS guy with the gas mask.
Oh, that'd be sick, yeah.
Which is kind of already in the game, but he has like some kind of orangey thing behind it. But I picked that one because he looked like some of the models have got like big radio antennas and things which stick out a bit, or night vision goggles which stick out above. Why did they take that away, by the way? Yes, it's potato, but I still want to use it. But I picked the SAS guy and a T which has like a...
How many stars do you need for the SAS guy?
A gold mask. Well, I don't know, because basically it gives you one of like 5 different characters at that level. So you might get him, you might not get him. So you're better off just buying... I mean, the SAS guy is like £1.20 or something.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I think I'll be on the SAS guy as well.
Yeah.
How can you not if you're British?
Yeah.
How can you not?
Do you know what? I really wonder, you know, when Half-Life Alyx comes out, there's going to be CS stuff. If there's a Combine...
Oh.
If there's a Combine CT, or, well, not CT, I guess it'd be a...
I mean, they're kind of like stormtroopers.
Well,
so maybe
technically they're CTs, right? But they're just like oppressing, so they're like bad CTs. So if there's a Combine CT, that would just be, especially with the radio command, which is like, blah, 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 like I'll be all over that, I don't care how much it costs, I will sell all the things.
You need to complete Half-Life 1, James.
That's true, I never completed it. I got till the alien bit and I was like, I don't know about this. So I need to, I want to do a run through, I want to do like a streamed run of all the Half-Life games. I think that would be super cool.
Yeah.
You know, it shows promise as well that Half-Life, that Valve were working on this Half-Life all this time, because I remember they were looking into technology. I don't know if it was to do with like hearing or something. There's some kind of weird tech that people thought they were looking into. Because I thought, you know, like the gravity gun was pretty revolutionary when that came out with the game and so on. So I imagine they were looking to do something with like the next big title. Turns out it was VR, but it shows promise that maybe there's even something beyond that which is being worked on or is on paper or something.
Well, that's the interesting thing, is that it could be it could really redefine the marketplace in terms of having more people having these VR platforms, because it becomes a pretty. I mean, it would be interesting to look at the statistics of how many units are shipped and so on, and how many more people will be having VR in their homes, because maybe that does change the amount of investment that goes into developing more awesome VR games, because I can't imagine the market is that huge right now. I haven't really looked at it in a long time. But I think some people kind of considered it to be a little bit dead in terms of gaming. So it'll be interesting if this revitalizes the whole thing and shows people, the value of making VR titles. It'll be quite interesting.
So we should be live very shortly, guys. And I mean that. First day of the game. First game of the day, in fact. Not first day of the game, although it kind of is that as well. But technically that works. I made no mistake. First game of the day. Get the teething bits out of the way, and then we should be good for the rest.
I can't wait to have some steak in Texas.
Dude, I went to a barbecue, like a classic home-run barbecue place.
Yeah.
It was funny, because I went in there with, like, it was me. Actually, I'm not sure if I should say that story on stream. But basically, it was like your like stereotypical Texas BBQ place. Like some guy facing the door was there with his like dad who's like 90 or something, and like 3 of us went in there. Definitely not from here, let's say. And it was just like staring at us. It was really funny. But the family who ran the place were really cool, had loads of barbecue. The guy insisted that, there was like a young lad working there, and he insisted I have more potato salad because I was a big dude. So they were really kind. It was a really nice place. So that was cool. I don't think I've ever gone to that kind of BBQ place before. And it was really cheap as well. It was like, I don't know, like $15 or something. And it was stacks, man. It was stacks.
Yeah.
It was a nice experience. But it was so much food. And I had BBQ for lunch as well. So I was just dead after that.
I'm going to try to avoid the mac and cheese this time. The problem is with coming to Texas is the food is so incredible that it is, every single time I just indulge. I just feel like I have to. But this time I'm going to try to exhibit some self-control.
You know, I wanted to take mutual friend Ashley out for lunch. And she said she's a vegan now. I'm like, you live in Texas, man. How's that going to work? I was like, holy crap. I don't know how we're going to manage that in Texas.
Chef.
But there are some there are some places. I think it's partly a generational thing as well. So actually, Yeah, there are some spots. Excuse me, got hiccups. When I was at Complexity's office, there's actually somebody who used to do social at E-League, who was there now because she's from Dallas, so that was pretty cool. But she gave me some recommendations for potential vegan places, so I can confirm that they do exist. I got more swag from Complexity as well. They gave me a white jacket, which looks really cool.
I'm jealous.
It's really awesome. Yeah, and the quality of their clothes is amazing. Okay, here we are. The knife is live. The filling is done for now.
Here's the best combo.
Yeah, let's look at the knives. I don't like this knife. This looks like a virus. It's like a virus knife. AdreN's got the purple on purple. That's not too bad. Those gloves are super expensive, by the way. Like a good quality version of those gloves is like £1,200, which is just insane to me. I don't think they're that fancy, to be honest, but there we go. James got this stiletto knife. I had a toy version of this when I was a kid, so I wanted to buy one in the game, but like I've got like 11 knives, so I'm trying not to buy another one. And I wouldn't love it. I love all the rest of mine though, so that's that. Well, the knife is done. That's a gross knife, Sanji. I remember when Chris J used to have the battle-scarred Asimov AWP.
He still does.
I don't know if he's going for that.
He still does.
That kind of style with the knife, but it looks like there's a stain on the knife, as opposed to it being worn.
Well, looks like AVANGAR up on the T side to kick things off, and I think that's perfect for them. The interesting thing with this update is I think it makes Dust 2 less rubbish because the FAMAS are better, and obviously that was a big issue, is that CT's having fielding buys that are worthy.
Yeah, if they can avoid the SMGs a little more, that would really be helpful for their short to long-term decisions, things that can transition. I feel like the SMGs end up being more of a shorter term, but the FAMAS may help them survive a little longer. Well, we've got more fun from AVANGAR. Let's see how this smoke will land. There's a second one to go with it. Nice flashbang as well. Ethan will eat the chain flash though. There's going to be the first frag for him anyway. Starts to fall back, more flashes coming through. Stan trying to track, there's a big gap in those smokes. Ethan still on the site, can play double peek with his teammates. Pop, pop, Ethan's trying to kill everybody now. Kika and Jame remain. This is not the start they were looking for.
Yeah, this is really tough. If only they had a Molotov or something to deal with Ethan, but he seems to be just owning it from this position. Jame, though, will return one headshot onto Tarek. Jame trying to also cover the crossover position and the key cut as well. There's not too much that they can do. Too many men alive here for EG. Great stuff from Ethan to kick things off on the A-bomb side. AdreN, if he wins that first 1v1, this 1v1 right here, the round is just completely different, but he needed some help. There was no help to be had. And EG starting off with good money.
It's a good sign, though, the way that AVANGAR tried to play out that round. Everything is... Oh, look at the FAMAS. Triple FAMAS. Straight away, we see the difference. But yeah, AVANGAR, everything is so thorough with them. So even though it didn't work, I mean, such is the nature of a pistol, especially. You've just got to pop the heads. Tarek going straight to the FAMAS doesn't even have a skin for it. You've got to get those gold skins, man. That gold FAMAS skin is amazing. I don't know what it's called, but I mean, it's gold, so not hard to find.
So it will be interesting because the Kriegs will be coming out next rounds. I would imagine that AVANGAR will still be buying up the Kriegs. And EG, as you say, they do have the FAMAS, but the Kriegs, there's so many spots on this map in particular where they just have a huge advantage with the range. But here's a flash play, just pistols, no Kevlar, no helmets, but still a kill from Keycut. Zach will catch Keycut with that scout of his. He's extremely deadly. Did great work with this in China. Ooh, and finishes it off too. So only one person going down. That's fantastic for EG. They'll be happy with that. But now the Kriegs, the next test.
So holds on to the scout, doesn't bother to pick up the FAMAS. We'll see if that changes in future. There is a brief pause. I think it's a tech pause.
There's no Kriegs, James.
No, they've gone for the AKs. Well, I mean, they don't have the best money right now.
That's fair enough. They need all the nades.
Yeah. They're getting like 3 grenades per person with an AK, so the money's not quite in the right spot. So, I mean, perhaps the value prop has changed after all. A little more than we're expecting, because we're looking at that force buy round, and we're not seeing the Kriegs here. I mean, our sample size is tiny, of course, but there is a more impactful change in a round such as this, where you're not going to have the money for any grenades if you go for that Krieg.
Yeah, I mean, as what we can see right now that you guys can't see is that there's 3 to 4 grenades on each player that has bought up. So, you know, Krieg is basically 1 grenade. Krieg is 1 grenade less. And I think there's a lot of teams that would still choose that on Dust 2. But AVANGAR, we know, is a team that they have so much comfort and security in their round when they have more utility that if they can get it and have the firepower, that's what they're going to go for. Utility is huge for them. And I think I would expect that EG, especially with the double FAMAS and the scout, I would expect them to do something aggressive here. That is, again, you know, one way you can throw AVANGAR off. Get a kill before they are able to get 5 players, you know, on that default with that catwalk control. You know, try to find a way to get a pick before that point, or take over catwalk, something to throw a wrench in the works.
I've been looking out for the shoe game on all the different players. I had a chat with the Liquid boys about some upcoming releases. I see Zeus has the, what do you call them? Those Nikes I've got with the tick backwards, the Travis Scott. He's picked a pair of them up as well, which is cool. But I see Ethan had a little wrist wear on, which is not very common actually. I have to take my bits and bobs off when I play, especially the leather. You don't want it to rub and get kind of gross. But tech has come and gone, and we're back into the game. So we'll see. Now you can see the setup on your screens. There will be 1 Krieg for Buster. Oh, Kikut's been taken out by Cirque with the scout immediately, and James tries to punish, but Cirque's still alive, and that is always going to be an issue. So that's an early 5 versus 4 for Evil Geniuses. A fantastic start. You're asking for an early pick. That's one way to do it.
Well, Cirque is actually nuts with the scout. I don't think I've seen him really ever have a bad round with it in the last few tournaments. He's really getting the value out of it. And on the Dust 2 double doors, it is a great way. You know, use that run speed, and you kind of judge the position, and then go for the wall bang attempts. And see, it really worked out for Cirque here. And AVANGAR, they will be moving towards the catwalk position. They do have Buster, who can take or keep a watchful eye on the tunnels push if that is to happen by EG. But EG, you know, they're a man to the good right now, so they may not feel the urge to go for any pushes. That said, they're pretty weak on the A bomb site, and we'll have to see if AVANGAR decide to commit there. I'd imagine they will harass this position a little bit, but whether they commit is a different story.
49 seconds remain. AVANGAR keeping their cards close to their chest. Poking through is AdreN with the bomb in tow. 2 smokes for up. Buster's lurking outside B at the moment. Tarek tried to make a play, but I'm sure he will emerge eventually. Trying to line up for the window. Stanislaus by the car position. Poking the product, trying to get that info, but there are 2 fast kills for Evil Geniuses. They haven't lost a player just yet. Finally, Stanislaus goes down with the AWP, no less, of Jamie. Stuck by the door, surely he's going to get flanked. Running now towards default spot, but they are overwhelmed with Evil Geniuses players. He's got stuck on a reload as well, so EG didn't give AVANGAR the opportunities. It didn't give them any picks. They made their way towards the B bomb site. They kind of got stuck in the choke points, trying to find where the players are, and weren't able to really trade frag. And it's 3-0 for EG.
Yeah, I love that from EG. You know, really. So that's what I was talking about. You know, you get you kind of run past the door and you can just judge the shot. The scout is just extremely strong at that. There are some specialists that are eerily consistent with those shots, but yeah, EG making the really smart decision there. They couldn't really take heads-up fights given the fact that they had a huge firepower disadvantage, so they used the defensive advantage to level the difference, and it really worked out well, as you say. And they pick up an AWP, a Krieg, an AK, a couple AKs. Beautiful. And we'll see if AVANGAR can do any damage here. They do have a couple smokes and flashbangs, so there is a variety of plays they can make with that. You can see they're trying to get positioned towards catwalk as per usual. You might see a flash from Sanji through the doors for Buster to maybe take a peek, or perhaps not. Sanji is in position. Perhaps they would have had that option if maybe a sound cue was had. They can make that call on the fly, but it seems like they're going to commit towards the A-bomb side. A timely flash blinds everyone. And looks like they'll try to go for a short plant in this position.
Tarek moves to Goose. He's got 1 flash. Cirque has a support flash as well, although I'm sure he'll hold the AWP out. And Breeze has 2 flashes, so he can flash behind Cirque as the T start to push. There's a T flash, 2 on the low ground. He's seen an arm. He'll take Buster out. And Kikut's pretty close. He has support, though, as a team kill, actually. But as long as they hold, then that's going to be the main thing. Tarek stops the bomb from being planted for the time being. They're lining up. They're stuck behind the whatever those bags of thingies are.
Bags of thingies.
Are they like bales of hay? Are they hay bales or something? I don't know what's in them. Anyway, it might be grain. I'm going to have to investigate what is behind those things so I don't get stuck next time. But it's 4-0 for Evil Geniuses. They are most certainly in a driving seat. Haven't felt too challenged just yet. I think it is grain. It looks like, what does it say on the side? Is it grain or is it hay? Oh, can somebody translate that? Can somebody send me a tweet? I don't know what that is.
Either way, it's another buy for AVANGAR. They've got decent firepower, decent utility here. James on the lower dark position, looking for any short aggression, but there is none. Double AWPs coming out of EG pretty much straight away. They did get dropped an AWP effectively. You know, they killed James in a round previously where he had one, so that's an opportunistic pickup.
That's unlucky for Kika. It's common for CTs to stand right in front of the smoke grenade on occasion. Like that, so that's what he was trying to fish for. There's James now getting off angle for Cirque, and he tries to tag the second sniper in Stanislaw. Doesn't quite hit the mark on that occasion. So finally, there's something for AVANGAR. They've got the 5 versus 4. James got to be careful about that if he drops that smoke grenade, because people have started to spray those doors. So there's the odd person who drops the fadeaway. So they have a few seconds to move away from the position. Anyway, they could keep pursuing the long position, the short position, sorry. Kika is outside long, and Breeze is making a forward play just to find out what's going on there. So that's going to be a very quick engagement, and now there's loads of problems to EG. Tarek is alone. We've got AdreN, he's got a hit off a 1 versus 1, but he can't see the players coming. You can feel the sense of urgency. Sanji could be in trouble though if Tarek goes a little deeper.
Really well played by AVANGAR to at least guarantee the bomb plant here, but EG indeed will still have a defense that they can go for a retake from Sanji. Always got to hit that straight away, and it's just going to be down to Kika and Jane. They are very, very low on HP here. There is no utility remaining for EG to actually get rid of these short players, so it's just the straight-up aim battles. Tarek pushing into an off angle, goes for the spray. Kika with the defense. Beautiful stuff with that Krieg. And AVANGAR pick up a really needed round. The money was starting to get out of hand, but they put a stop to that.
Yeah, their grenade usage, well, not usage, but the level of grenades for AVANGAR at the beginning of that round kind of sucked as well, which feels rare for a team such as them. But there's the opening kill for James. We'll see how often he's able to do that. It's going to be a really tough duel between those two snipers in a mid position. EG will be no strangers to how much James loves to peek through these doors.
Just weird, James. 3 players of AVANGAR don't have a kill. It's just all Kika and James.
Yeah, and I think that's quite telling to Evil Geniuses being very prepared for this particular map and opponents.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting stat. I don't remember when I last saw something like that. Anyway, AdreN will take a quick peek through the double doors to see what's up here on the CT side of things, and especially with the FAMAS being more affordable, being something that is more of an attractive option, it may be difficult or more difficult for teams to read the money, or rather the buys from their opponents. So we'll have to see how that comes into play, but here it's going to be AVANGAR running that default. They've got tons control, they've got catwalk control, they've got Sanji looking after any longhouse pushes, and he's now going to assist the effort in catwalk. So again, very standard stuff here from AVANGAR, and they've given themselves the option now with that lurk smoke on A that they could either bait out some nades, they could try to go for the commit play towards A, they could try to bait the rotation, then drop down to go for a B split. They have all the options.
Here comes the usual AVANGAR execute, at least in terms of grenades, but surely Tarek has heard the footstep that Kikert just made. So there may be questions as to what the real intentions are. I think it may be hopping into CT, and at the same time he has indeed. That's a great way to trade. And now there's nervousness towards the B bomb site. AdreN creeping, trying to find a CT. And Cirque will probably peak eventually, and here comes the harassment towards B. So AdreN stopping the issues that they had in the previous rounds. We see adjustment now from AVANGAR, but they still need to make their way in. 16 seconds, they're still stuck by the choke points. The smoke is still up. Sanji goes through the door, loses the bomb, and the same thing is happening as happened last time. They went for this kind of split. James gets a kill. He's still alive somehow. He's looking for it. James going crazy now. Find himself 3 kills, but there's no time to plant the bomb, or barely even time to pick it up. Cirque alive with 3 HP in the tunnels, nothing can be done. It shouldn't have even gone down to they shouldn't have lost that many players, EG. Again, AVANGAR just keep getting stuck by the door and the window. They make their way through mid doors and so on. But the EG holds are looking fairly solid. So delayed is Sanji with the bomb in the doors.
James so sick. These 3 kills, oh my goodness. that is so much damage to the economy of Evil Geniuses. And you can see now this is where we start to see this new buy coming into play, or new possibilities. A couple of Galils purchased by AVANGAR. They go for the force around the AWP. Oh, straight through the smoke here. Breeze on the other end of it, just as James was talking about previously. And he's going to just stop this rush dead. He's got himself a Krieg as a reward as well. And things are not looking good here for AVANGAR. They've also lost Catwalk. Tarek around the smoke. He's going to pick off one more, and it just gets worse. AVANGAR in so much trouble here, and they need to at least be able to find a couple kills. Keep the economy honest. Prevent it from growing too much. There's one from Buster. And there's certainly opportunity for more with a minute to go.
Mid to B smoke deployed. We'll keep an eye on Breeze and see if he goes aggressive on long later on again, as he did previously. Maybe he'll be deterred by the result last time. In fact, Kiko is starting to wonder perhaps if he'll be given another such opportunity. Buster peeking, prodding through middle doors. He's been spotted. Often you can find Dupree in a position like that, drop a smoke if he sees a push coming. But that's not the case. Evil Geniuses are patient. So they've seen a bomb trying to head towards B, but there's time for it to go elsewhere, and Ethan sees that there's no one outside for now. And he's pushing the tunnels, which may allow Stanislaus to rotate towards the A bomb site if they see nothing in the tunnels, which he won't. AVANGAR have 25 seconds on the clock. We've got Buster just holding an angle on short. So perhaps it is that they are simply trying to save, not expecting EG to be pushing, because look at the money for EG. The last thing you're expecting here is EG to push because they need to save their own economy. Oh, he could even get knifed. Round number 7 and the blade is out. That's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, and that's really a huge problem too, because this next round, it was all going to be about buying around the AWP and the M4. Because actually, you know, if you looked at the money, Buster would have had, he had $1,000 in the hole, so he would have been able to stock up full nades around that. So it would have actually looked like another 4-buy. So now it gets a little bit weird. But yeah, this one position just blew up this round completely for AVANGAR. They wanted some fast map control, and that just did not really work out for them. So EG in a commanding position at this point. AVANGAR need to find a way to turn things around sooner than later before this really gets out of hand. And may see a B-rush coming up here. They're all going towards the upper dark position.
I feel like the end of that round, that previous round, is very much a Stanislaus thing that you're not going to see from a lot of other teams who'll be prioritizing their own economy. I think he has a great sense of feel for the game, because I think most people will be very risk-averse there. So with a jump peek, sees the players on top of the box. Oh, that's a meaty one. It's just not going great for AVANGAR, is it? Maybe our picks were disastrous ones because AVANGAR don't seem to have a solution for the way EG are playing. They're not playing into the hands of AVANGAR. They're not allowing AVANGAR to engage them the way AVANGAR want to do. They're having to do it on EG's terms. They're allowing them to go through middle doors if that's what they want to do, but they can't plant the bomb there. And again, when they get towards, like we've seen that adjustment, we saw AdreN hopping off from short into CT spawn for the trade and stopping the rotation from the A players as they push towards B, but they still can't get through the door with any sense of confidence. They're still stuck outside the window somehow, even though they split the CTs between the sites. So EG are looking extremely comfortable right now. This is looking like a devastating half for AVANGAR, even though we're only 50% of the way through the half. It just doesn't look like they're getting anywhere close to maybe even planting a bomb.
Yeah, it's not looking good. So they will be mostly dealt with here. Oh, actually, that said, a couple unsuspecting kills, and suddenly it's a 2 versus 3. This is actually now already one of the better rounds in terms of just the spots that they're in, but it seems that Stanislaus found a timing on James. AdreN with the M4 now against 3 players. He's got no Kevlar, no HP. Looking to make it hurt a little bit more here for EG before he goes down, and he will be unsuccessful. I think you're right, you know, James. There was 2 key opportunities for AVANGAR where they went for these B splits, but just how robust the B defense was when I think Stan and Ethan were just sitting inside the bomb site. It seemed flawless, and that should be giving way somehow, and it just didn't. So that is very surprising. And AVANGAR, they're starting to run out of chances here to recover this half.
Yeah, this looks awful. This looks absolutely awful for them. It looks like in this vacuum, they've been solved on Dust 2 by Evil Geniuses on EG's CT side.
Yeah, and I have to say, this is also similar to how things went at the major when they played against each other in the best of one. And now when I was making my predictions, I wish I'd actually remembered that, but it's fine, no one's keeping track. There's no grand tally at the end, I don't think, James.
Oh, I mean, you can look at the numbers. I mean, normally I wouldn't make that play, but I'm a bit of a fanboy for AVANGAR at the moment because their CS is so stimulating to watch, and because of the unique styles and the way they utilize some of their players. So I kind of, each year definitely a heavy favorite, but I want to pick them anyway, so it's all good in the hood. 7-1 for EG, and AVANGAR are still looking for a way into anything. And maybe they need to kind of throw their playbook to the side somewhat, and maybe not play a more puggy style, but they need to make some variation on the fly. Because everybody's studying their demos at present and have basically added things from AVANGAR's game into games of their own. So there'll be no strangers to these plays.
Yeah, it's going to be really satisfying when you're at that point where everyone's copying your stuff. It's going to be pretty satisfying.
I wouldn't say so. I know MSR gets annoyed by it, for example, because you work so hard and it's like, yeah, in one way it's cool, but in another way, if everyone's doing your strats, then everyone is preparing for your strats. A lot more than if it's just you doing it.
Means you've been successful, James, to warrant it.
It does, but it also means that you probably have to change stuff as well and do even more work.
Oh, Ethan, is he actually going through this? That's so brave. Really calling the bluff there, and it's put Tarek in a very difficult position by himself. That said, he finds the 1v1. Repositioning looked expert from Tarek, but he will finally go down. 3 versus 3 here for AVANGAR, and Stan's looking for a timing again. And it's not going to work out. James covers. A flashbang did go through. Stan had a good chance of getting a kill there, but instead it gets worse for EG. Maybe it's a chance here finally for AVANGAR.
Buster with an off angle. Does Breeze look a lot further? He does. He's going to do it, but Buster's still unable to get the kill. Breeze has got a fair amount of help, actually. James is brought over as well. And Circuit seems wants to eliminate Sanji. He knows he's behind double stack somewhere, but I don't think he's going to be able to win this one. Oh, he's seen the elbow at the very least. I think he did flick towards the body, though. I think he's going for a headshot. If he just shot the elbow, I think Sanji would have actually died there, but never mind. He'll try to rotate away Surge, but he will be taken out by Buster. So I feel like we have seen an adjustment, because normally AVANGAR are putting 2-3 players through the middle doors or via short, whatever, to go through door and window at the same time. But this time they made a 4-man play. Yes, they were gifted a lot, though, by Ethan walking through with the AWP, so that was a stroke of luck, but they did try to put the numbers through the tunnel instead of in mid, where they were just failing to really go through those choke points with any kind of sense of danger, really.
Yeah, and it does go into what you're talking about in terms of team's readiness for AVANGAR. It could be that was just doing something like that is out of their kind of typical playbook, and that's why Ethan would have pushed that smoke. Because if they've looked at the demos of AVANGAR and that they see that they almost never ever utilize that smoke for aggression or committed aggression, but just instead to delay pushes, then you're calling the bluff. Except that's when we really start to get into the mind games of the stuff that you're talking about people's familiarity with AVANGAR. But EG in this round on their light buy, looking to go for those aggressive plays, trying to take command of middle, and it feels like they are being given so much respect here. They've got so much real estate. Sanji will finally be able to clear the lower dark position, but Tarek lurks. That Deagle, he looks dangerous, but Buster will deal with him. So most of the danger now has been dealt with for AVANGAR.
There's the smoke. Breeze has found himself a nice angle. Maybe he's gifted something. Sanji is threatening. Oh, he's very aware, though. He knows where the holes are, and he is expectant, and that's really important. It's great awareness from him. Carrying the bomb, that could have been dangerous. I don't know how much information they get on the dev cam from that. So looking to rotate quietly. Maybe time was on their side. I say was now, as Stanislaw gets taken out while in mid-sentence on the side. That was the main threat. Keycut stands in absolutely the wrong place, but I don't think there's much to be done from Cirque unless they just give him more opportunities. Although, how much does he have to lose? Maybe there's a highlight reel to be had. Maybe there's a weapon to be collected, and AK will be that. So the money's been broken for Evil Geniuses. They'll take an AK out of this round, but they'll soon be back on the buy once again. AVANGAR moved to 3. They've been forced to adjust by Evil Geniuses. They've been not allowed to play their game in a successful fashion. And this is a nice test of a team who should be top 10 to see if they can turn things around when the usual stick is being basically hard countered by Evil Geniuses. They've got a notepad out, EG, and they've made all the counters, and they've been working very well so far. But if AVANGAR can keep them off guard. If they're playing for Qs from grenades, from a number of people in certain positions and AVANGAR can change it up, then maybe EG won't have an answer for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, what we saw there, about you talking about how people punish the AVANGAR kind of Xbox smoke where they put it on the hinge of the door and so on. And we saw Sanji there, it's like martial arts. If you're going to make a play, everything has openings. As long as you know what your openings are when you're making a play, where your weaknesses are, and you're protecting against them, it can be fine. And that's what we see AVANGAR doing in that previous round. And either way, we'll see a more real test here from EG. A better buy is on the cards. And as far as EG are concerned, there could be players long. They don't have the information, so they're going for a push to catwalk, the typical stuff that you would see. And there is this window of time here. It seems like AVANGAR want to go for a B push, and there is this window where EG are still expecting AVANGAR's default to hit catwalk. So AVANGAR are going to try to hit the B bomb site before that timing.
So thanks for all the people who tweeted me that says wheat bag or corn bag in Arabic on the A bomb site. I'll go with wheat bag. This is a nice two-man setup. It's always nice to pay attention to rifle support for an AWP. Breeze popping out with a flashbang. James loses his angle, doesn't go back to it, but he will hold some kind of angle. In the meantime, it's a brief walk. Here we go, burst. It's ATK style, just bursting straight into the B bomb site. Stan creates a spoke for himself, but what can he really do? He needs to buy time. Tarek is here to help, or he's somewhere to help. Gets a long-range shot, actually, kill James. Elsewhere on the map, the bomb's been dropped. Stanislaw still in the smoke. How is this? How they're going to lose the round? Finally, he's taken out, but it's instant trades, leaving AdreN alone with a Krieg. He knows that one of the players is by the window. He hears Breeze. The bait is there. And Evil Geniuses will rescue the round. Stanislaw just standing with a smoke. Absolutely destroyed AVANGAR on the B bomb site.
I actually really like that round from AVANGAR, though. I think it was really smart how they played it. They made it look like a regular default, and so at the timing that they take catwalk, usually as a CTs you feel as though it's safe to have only one person in the B-bomb site. The other person goes towards middle so that he can protect against or slow things down and get more information and play off of the cap players and so on and so forth. But AVANGAR are unlucky that they had 2 in B, I think.
Was it ATK or that team called Mix who would just suddenly emerge into a bomb site?
Both, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, both, very much abusing contact plays. I think that was a super smart round. I think AVANGAR unlucky, and another huge value play. Stan will take over catwalk, and he'll remove the AWP from James. And now all that's left for AVANGAR is to push long, and EG know it's coming.
Breeze looking to cause more mayhem. Seems Evil Geniuses thrive in the anarchy around smoke grenades, and AVANGAR just causing them problems that they can't really deal with. Tarek looking for the highlight reel, looking for the content. Buster and Kika remain. This is still doable for them. Buster on the site. They don't know where the CTs are. There is a long rotation for a lot of them. That bomb needs to cross. It's thrown into the smoke, but can it be? Oh, no. The problem is no one's peeking it, but they don't know that, so it's really nervous times. And the longer they wait, the worse the situation will become. Nobody will be peeking from the lower area, though. And there's a clue. A Molotov towards short. Buster focusing on the frags with the time on the clock. 45 seconds remaining for AVANGAR in this 2 versus 3. Kikat's got a molly, goes into long doors, and he will start to look to collect the bomb. They still have no idea. Very nervous times. EG wondering what's happening. Stan goes for a poke and a prod through long, and he'll be eliminated. Now it's a 2 versus 2. The utility still coming through for EG. They start to spread, though, waiting for focus on the bomb. 1v1. Ethan on the low ground. That's pretty rough for him. 48 HP, 23 seconds to plant the bomb. He's got Ethan. How has he won that one? On the low grounds, half HP, everything going the way of EG at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great effort. It feels like nothing's going AVANGAR's way. I think there's at least 3 or 4 rounds now where I think they had the advantages, but were unable to win those rounds. And those are rounds where the economy could have been broken. That it would just change the complexion of the match completely. So, and this is another one of those spots where that 1v1 at the end, just came down to the clutch there. Ethan, super comfortable, and now it's 9-3 in favor of Evil Geniuses. And again, it's just one of those. It feels like one of those games for AVANGAR. Not to take anything at all away from Evil Geniuses. I think they've been playing a remarkable game so far. They've had a lot of the right calls. And we get the tactical timeout coming in. What is the change here for AVANGAR? They've got to get at least 5 or 6 rounds. Otherwise, it's surely just done.
I love how dominant this is from the EG perspective.
Yeah.
If you look at the recent matches played for both teams, it has been quite up and down. But this is the EG that people are expecting just in game to game, really, just a strong, dominant team. You can clearly see they've done their homework for this matchup, and AVANGAR don't have an answer. In the vacuum of this game, they've tried to adjust. Things haven't always gone their way. Again, they were partly gifted that round where there was an AWP push through a smoke on B as well. Now they've got the CZ75s, the decoy, the P250. They've got the grenades to perhaps close in on a position, because Ethan's not too concerned with the offerings of AVANGAR in this round just yet. There'll be no sound cues with the incendiary, which is important to avoid as a T as well. You can see that AVANGAR look to be lining up some smoke soon. Very slow round, eking out the dangerous utility. They've got the incendiary out the way. There's no more fire for EG in this round, and maybe that'll be an important help for AVANGAR.
I like how AVANGAR are going mostly for B, even though it hasn't been working out. We're going to see it here again with the pistols. Most players going through mid. I think lots of teams know how to deal with the A attacks AVANGAR are throwing their way. So once again, the B defense is tested. Stan and Ethan open things up nicely. Finally, a trade comes through, but Stan at the back of the bomb site with the M4 doing all the damage and just holding on. Oh man, he's even going to get the kill onto Sanji. I think he's already done enough, but he might even just do everything. Indeed, he will. Stand with a great hold, a 4K from him, and that will be the B-bomb site once again. Just under lock and key for EG.
Yeah, Stanislaus having a good game at the moment. He is 13 for 8, I believe. Tarek's up there with 16 kills. And again, it's just looking really hard for AVANGAR, whether it's a full buy or a half buy. But it is full buy territory. There'll be more Kriegs for AVANGAR in the next round. But will the Kriegs be the solution? It feels like they've been far away from a solution in most of these rounds.
Yeah, it seems as though AVANGAR don't have anybody really stepping up in terms of an individual performance. Like just having one guy just going crazy, or one guy who's winning those clutches and making those getting those multi-kills. And this is a good start, at least. Removing Stan, but Ethan's going deep. Trying to see if he can get ahead of any play that would be coming in. And Tarek now will assist, but that means Tarek's given up middle completely. AVANGAR with a lot of options here. A minute to go, a 5v4 on Dust 2. It's one of the most classic situations to be in as a commentator, as a caller on the team.
Initial map control taken. Lots of slow rounds from AVANGAR. Sub 1 minute now as they still need to clear out the rest of short. Once again, Breeze is very deep towards long doors, playing shadow advantages. It's a well-timed incendiary from Circle. Will it be in response when the smoke starts to come out? No, just be before. She's forcing Sanji from his position, not just Sanji either. Oh, Kika is playing it slow with 1 HP. That's a big opening. Evil Genius is trying to be proactive, but it'll cost him on this occasion. Cirque moving forward now, point of no return, no kill for him either. And that's the A bomb site completely taken for AVANGAR.
Yeah, really nice stuff. As I mentioned, you know, it's a 5v4 on Dust 2. If the CTs play it like standard, this is what you see. 1 on the site, 1 on A site, 1 on the long position, and then 2 on B. Which means that if you go A, you're most of the time you're going to guarantee yourself a 1v, or rather, sorry, multiple players versus 1 player. So that's obviously amazing if you can isolate the defense like that, and it's kind of a given. And I think Dust 2 is the most pronounced version of that. And AVANGAR just play it to a T by the book, and they will look like they might survive with 5 players. Maybe Tarek has something to say at the end of this one. He is in a great position, and oh, he does pick up one, but the trade's through. All right, so we made best case for AVANGAR now as 5 rounds. They've finally broken the money of EG, but only right at the end of this one. And so there's a chance for AVANGAR to get something going in this, but 10 rounds on the CT side is so devastating.
Yeah. It absolutely is. And I don't think we've really been able to judge anything with like FAMAS and Galil just yet. I don't think we've seen a Galil in this game thus far, but there's plenty of tournament to be played to look at those things. There will be a FAMAS for Cirque though in this final round of the first half. There will be a short break between the 2 halves. Very short. So we've got 4 Kriegs, 5 scopes for AVANGAR in this last round of the first half, and they're looking to walk in once again. All that smoke deter them. Oh, the B-bomb site's been abandoned. But surely they run through because they're expecting to have to swing. Oh, they break? No, they're just going to walk back. They were so close, but they're just not brave enough to do it.
Like at the edge of the diving board and then just like walking back. Another tag from James. Damn, this is looking pretty bad for EG, all things considered, though. With the HP as it is, it should be okay for them to close it out, and they will indeed make the call after all. Get into that B-bomb side, it's completely open. I don't know that there's a... Is there a flash for Ethan there? I don't think that there is. Stan will wrap around the back, but the smokes will make things... It actually could help him, because maybe they think that there's a time here where it's actually safe to look away from that smoke.
Well, this is going to be pretty hard. Stan makes his way through. Oh my god, Stan, he's found 2 already, but he's finally taken out. And that's going to be a very brief end. 5-10 for Evil Geniuses at halftime, and we will see you very shortly after the break.
Cool, right? Want to know where I got it? Well, look, go to CS.money. It's a trade platform and a marketplace at the same time. Just choose, click, and get. Good luck, bro.
Traveling at light speed, up and away, up and away. See, I'm
Welcome back, ladies and gents. It is 5 rounds for AVANGAR. They only got a mere 5 rounds on their T side. I think it's safe to say that Evil Geniuses are in the driving seat of this one. And it's not looking like a good journey for AVANGAR so far. On the CT side, James, they need it all.
Perhaps the worst is over for AVANGAR, but if they win this pistol, then perhaps not. Sanji managing to stay alive and falling all the way back to the corner. There are no grenades here for AVANGAR. There's no pop flash plays to be had. It's just Kevlar, USPs, and 1 P2000 for Sanji. Jane with a double peek from the top. That's a nice little play from 2 players in a pistol round. Again, lots of attention to detail from AVANGAR. But look at them lining up Evil Geniuses. They're just creeping. They're like thugs on the road. Angry motorcycle gang. Trying to charge up that long position. There'll be a trade. Plenty of headshots for Breeze Sanji on a low ground now, as there's plenty of flashbangs from Evil Geniuses. One team which did buy utility. And the bomb will be planted. 2 players on the site, 2 players not. Picked off by AdreN, who continues to push from the long position. Sanji still in the smoke. There's going to be some issues. A nice snap from Sanji, and that's 2. And that leaves Breeze alone in a 1 versus 3 in his pistol. Players coming in from short, long, and close to Sanji as well as the first headshot for Breeze. Looking for more, looking for the 1 taps. He's just dancing around from player to player. He's only got 2 bullets left. There's only 1 now, and that's his bullets gone. He gets his reload in, though. Still alive for the time being. Still dancing, but they will eventually overwhelm him. And it was a essential round for AVANGAR, which they were able to convert.
Yeah, 6 kills from Sanji. I did not expect him to pick up those frags, especially the one where, you know, you've got these players sitting in the smokes as they're dissipating. It's really awkward to get those kills, but Sanji, he's pretty damn good with the pistols, James, and it's going to work out for AVANGAR here. They needed this round. They've got to get some sick momentum right off the bat, and that's a great way to try to to try to get that momentum going, get it started. Now, I'm really curious because Evil Geniuses, they got the bomb down. We could see the 5 Galils and utility. You know, we could see something like that. I would be interested to see what Evil Geniuses will go with. It could also be the case that some of these teams are not as comfortable yet with the Galil, so maybe they won't try to go for the kind of maximum Galil mode. But it's hard to say, as these teams all have been traveling and playing on the previous update.
Looking at Kikert, right, I feel like he has a constant expression of, didn't expect that on his face. Like, just, you know, like, oh, that's interesting. It's a little different from what I expected, but okay.
I'm tired of this.
It's like, weird flex, but okay. That's his perma expression. So, okay, now we're back into the game. So what will EG do so far? Oh, hold on a second. Hold the phone. Stanislaw has picked up a Galil. I bet in the short time they've had off, he's just been playing constantly with the Galil and FAMAS. I mean, that's pretty much the changes. So we'll see the fourth buy, double Galil, and there's still a Krieg for Breeze.
Yikes. Oh dear. Got to be careful here, James. Gets attacked through the door. We saw Cirque using that with the scout on the CT side to great effect, that door. Kiko close range. This is going to be messy. Oh god, it's looking pretty scary. EG really want just something to capitalize on here. They go for the pick. Breeze finds James, the trade is there. Kiko's got one more to go though, as Tarek with that Galil. And that's a 3v4 for AVANGAR straight away. They've got to make some choices here. Sanji will pick up one. I think that was through the smoke. And that evens things up to a 3v3, but it's still difficult here. EG have a lot of map control.
AdreN and Sanji still in the mid position. Do they swing? Buster says they don't need to. Cirque now hopping up towards short with the scout. He's scoped in, they've heard him. He just wants to continue to engage. In the meantime, Stan, he's got 13 HP. He's got a bomb watching long. They don't really know the full makeup of the AVANGAR players at the moment. Cirque will be the information man, the investigation man, as he's the guy with health, he's the guy without the bomb. And the play's running top mid as Stan's actually, oh no, he's lost his duel with Sanji. Sanji must have kept his gun out. Cirque will take AdreN out. Can he do any more? He can't. On the radar at the same time as that engagement was on short. Stan, he had the sound cues of Sanji moving up top mid, but you know, some people would have their knife out there, but Sanji doesn't know where that second player is, so he keeps his gun out, from what I can see, and delivers that final kill. Lots of important frags here from Sanji. There we go. He was creeping somewhere. But Stan, that was the duel they couldn't lose. So AVANGAR survived the test. It was looking really scary for them, but they turned it around.
Yeah, the test is still not over. We've got a bunch of deagles and flashbangs, a long take here, and it's just AdreN who's going to be there on the corner. He may have to give this one up. He's going to go deeper, though. I think if you can hold on to it against the pistols, that really does make sense. Good damage from the HE. He's got Sanji there for backup as well. They're looking to go for this. They are not looking to give away long anytime soon. Sanji will be able to burn down Ethan. James picks up one with the HE, so the utility really doing its job. And it looks like they have dealt with Evil Geniuses for the most part in this round. And maybe Sanji's the guy to step up, James. So far in this second half, he's really been the man that's stood up tall for me.
Cirque of 10 HP. Well, he's got an MP9. Not what you're used to seeing him with, so maybe he won't do too much. James is racing down mid, though, which is giving Cirque some free information, so you can see he'll try and play with that. The James, I think, is trying to bait him to peek, constantly making some sounds. So this is looking purposeful. The net is closing. AdreN coming in through short as well. And there we go. Just one player taken out. So AVANGAR did indeed stabilize for now. But what do they expect from Evil Geniuses on EG's T side? Again, the CT side for EG was devastating for AVANGAR's POV. Oh, that looks horrible. Well, going into this half, do AVANGAR expect their defaults to be exploited? So many questions to be answered, mainly by EG.
Yeah, full rifle buy from EG. They're looking comfortable there. No AWP though. And I would love to see, you know, James really come into his own in this half, as he's done some good stuff, but he's not been too loud. And generally for AVANGAR, if they're doing well, James is playing well and getting those kills. And a 2-1-2 setup is the call here for AVANGAR so far at this timing of the round. If you are expecting the T side to have an average pacing to their default and so on, then these are the kinds of positions that you'd want to take. Just having someone just keeping their eye passively or middle, but still having a quick rotation to help A if necessary. 2 towards long. They're looking for that delayed long take. Looking to protect each other. That's why James posted up here instead of from car to catwalk. And it does, in fact, look like we may see a delayed long take here. So James might be in the perfect position for this.
With the utility that Evil Geniuses have remaining, maybe this is one of the few options they feel like are good. 2 smokes for the cross. There's a crouch peek. They're doing it the hard way. There's only 1 flashbang, which is for Cirque. That's it for the remainder of this round. So 1 player's been spotted towards long, and Jane will fall back to play site to play with his teammates. AdreN starts to creep. Stan looking in the corner of the smoke. The jiggle from AdreN, but he doesn't win the duel. And that is just low ground for the CT. Suddenly this is super, super awkward. James to 1 HP, standing in front of the flames as well. Oh, that's not a good idea. This has just become brittle, extremely brittle. It's in a matter of seconds. James trying to fall back now. What has happened on the A bomb site?
Yeah, EG have managed to find a plan. That's really great from them. But holding down Catwalk is the next battle, and it will be won by AVANGAR. Buster with a very key frag. I think if that frag doesn't go their way, I think the round's probably off for AVANGAR, but now they've got a chance to go for this. James rotating through the long position with 14 or 1 HP. My God. Cirque holding the angle from the ramp there. It's going to be very tough now. Just Cirque left alive the AK, and Buster's owned everyone. Beautiful 3K from Buster. My God. As you said, James, that got really awkward very quickly.
Yeah, credit to AVANGAR for turning that one around. After losing AdreN creeping around the smoke, everybody suddenly on the low ground. They've already lost long from falling back after the first kill, so they just don't have any position. Horrible situation to be in. But Buster with a Krieg. I think he was the first to buy a Krieg for AVANGAR in the first half. Definitely wants to hold on to that.
And one quick point as well is that, again, AVANGAR got that first kill largely because you don't expect the AWPer to be the guy that's posted up on long. That's why they're not flashing it. That's why they're going contact. So that's a smart way for AVANGAR to get the opening kill.
3-man aggression from AVANGAR towards long. They get the early incendiary, but Evil Genius is going to smoke it, and Push is going to burst with the numbers, expecting the CTs to fall back, catching them off guard. Beautiful. That's the round shut down.
Yep.
you don't see that response very often. And this is what I said. Are Evil Geniuses going to counter AVANGAR? Once they get that incendiary through those doors, I'm imagining that 2 of the 3 players are retreating if 3 players are there. So they just play the numbers game, throw the smoke in, minimal time to respond. You've probably got CTs running back towards the site. Hold on a second, what's that smoke about? Running just not in position. They get through the choke point with 2 or 3 players, and then that's just a complete wipeout.
Absolutely, yeah. That was there's not too much you can do. I mean, that often comes down to, obviously for the T side, you know, you want to get those long spawns to really increase your chances of success, so you have the best timing. And for the CTs too, they decided to fight. And if you can't afford to miss your shots in that occasion, and there's variance with the flashbangs and smokes flying around, so it's, I mean, that's just one of those spots. It just sucks for the CTs because you don't want to play a game of variance.
Look at this. The bomb's planted on A, and the CTs still have to try and defend B just for survival. Buster, can he hold on to the Krieg? He can't. That's a big pickup for Evil Geniuses, especially. Buster on the B bomb site with the Krieg. No more.
Yeah, that is actually enormous. I don't think that there is... Yeah, there's no money really left for the CTs. That's very difficult. James still going to pick up an AWP, though. This is going to be interesting. So he's gone for a hero AWP. Okay, there's a I see a FAMAS and Kevlar from Keycode as well. The thing is, though, Sanji has absolutely no money, nor does AdreN. So this is okay. This is so strange. We're going to see 2 pistols, 2 AWPs, and a FAMAS, James. What are they doing?
That's very doable.
It makes sense because they're like, we actually lost so many rounds in that first half. We have to find a way. A low percentage chance has to work out for us at some point. Let's choose this spot.
Yeah, Sanji not having a significant weapon is nothing untoward. He's like somebody who will probably be one of the few players who will actually be prepared for a situation like that. And AdreN, he seems to be at the moment playing such positions for AVANGAR which are very, very brittle. He tends to die a lot for the team, so I think like it's okay. The people who don't have the primary weapons think it's all right. Evil Genius, look at this response straight through the middle doors with a crossfire. Cirque takes that Buster immediately. That's one of the AWPs gone.
Yeah, it will be collected, I think, by Sanji, who's on that B-bomb side, but he's not in the best position. Along with the North there, nice push from Keycode, really using that FAMAS to maximum impact. And now what do they do? It slows down towards B, and again, that AWP is posted up there. Sanji, with that AWP, will take down Ethan, and it doesn't look like Evil Geniuses have any kind of a timing here. They have to force their way in. Brute force, nothing else really can work for them, and they are getting just slowed down at every turn.
Somehow Breeze has made it to the car position though, with a smoke at the front, but there's a molly for that. And now he's going to be, oh, is he going to be forced forward? Maybe he's not, he's going to kill everybody from there. This round just keeps turning around. 1 minute, there's so much time on the clock for EG to try and do this. I'm loving the response from AVANGAR. Just when you thought it's safe to say they're getting completely outplayed, they fight their way back. But then this happens. These smokes on the B bomb site on CT&T for Evil Geniuses have caused so many issues for AVANGAR. They're like the most dangerous smokes ever. AdreN's found the weapon. He's creeping, but not pushing just yet. Evil Geniuses will feel the nervousness of the CTs. And maybe the AVANGAR will wonder why the bomb's not being planted, but surely they've seen it on the site, so there shouldn't be a clue there. But if EG just keep waiting, do AVANGAR send one player towards A?
Oh my God, that was just disgusting, wasn't it? So fast from Stan. Geeko will make his way through with an AWP against 2 players. This really doesn't look like it's going to work out. That maybe had to be the pick to go, and it just doesn't really seem to be happening for Geeko. The flick missed as well. He is lucky to actually be alive. Oh, Evil Genius has played that out so well. Breeze that 2K. I think James, you know, you might be wondering, you know, why did AVANGAR lose 2 players to Breeze there? I think, you know, they're not pushing unless that Molotov is there. I think they think that that Molotov is going to kill him.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it doesn't make sense for them to push for a kill, because they have they had a 4 versus 2 situation and the bomb wasn't down.
That's actually an extremely difficult position to Molotov, because most mollies will do there are like 2 positions, 2 common positions where the T's can hold, and most mollies will do one but not both. There was one thrown by a team, I think in China, which I made a note of, but I haven't looked up on the demo just yet. But yeah, that was a ginormous issue for them. But I feel like these plays from Kika and things, I love the way that AVANGAR are stepping up to the call. That Evil Genius is putting them in such a horrible situation. I thought the round was already over, but they'll force their way back into it, only for it to descend into even more madness. And indeed, the force buy hasn't quite worked out for them. Shane will still have an AWP, and that is going to change as soon as I say it. But Buster will collect it. He's a dab hand with an AWP as well. But I don't think this is going to be the round for AVANGAR.
Oh, hello. Kika once again back at it with the headshots, and he's picked himself up a creep, but the play is coming towards the A bomb site at the moment. The bomb is not actually with those 2 players pushing the catwalk position. It's making its way up catwalk right now, and Circus covering for Tarek's approach with that bomb. Now, is there going to be a way for AVANGAR to stop this bomb? It doesn't look like there is. So the bomb should be planted, and there's no kit on any player. So if AVANGAR decide to go for this, they've got to be quick about it. And I don't know that now that they've lost long, if they'll be thinking about doing that.
Yeah, they've got a Krieg and an AWP, and almost no one has any Kevlar, so they definitely want to just hold on to this. No kit, no utility. It's just trying to hold on to what they have, because as you can see, equipment value is almost $10,000 they're carrying, so it would be madness to throw this all away, which is this is like a 1% round to be winning something like this. And it's not really about the exit frags here, it's about survival. Evil Genius is looking to move to 13 rounds. It's been a very interesting game of Dust 2. Absolute dominance at the beginning from Evil Geniuses, forcing AVANGAR to try to adjust. They try to adjust, doesn't always go their way. Somehow the score is still relatively close, although that's changing as we speak. EG now 3 rounds away from winning the first map of the finals.
Okay, it's going to be so tough. AVANGAR, I mean, at least they managed to keep the AWP in the hands of Jame. But Evil Geniuses with the utility usage and just how happy they are to take positions quickly, they've been able to really lower the chances of those AWPs to do much damage. Lowering the chances for them to, you know, shoot many shots or have positions to work from. And another long take will be coming in from EG, and there's just nothing that AVANGAR can do to stop it. They have 4 players on the A-bomb side. Oh dear. Okay, that's a lot of Molotov damage taken by Stan, Breeze, and Tarek. And, well, doesn't really matter too much, I guess, at this point. They managed to take the long position. AVANGAR have 4 players on Cat. Oh, sorry, 3 players on Cat, 1 in CT. Was that the CT smoke, or is it Cat smoke? It's the CT smoke. That's what AVANGAR make of this. They have catwalk. They have no eyes on middle.
It's a big battle coming up. Spaghetti Western time. The close range smokes. Will there be a flash? Sanji will swing. How many is he going to get? 3! That is absolutely devastating. Kiko moves into a position to stop the bomb from being planted. 4 versus 2. No need to take the forward engagements now. Actually, AVANGAR posting the smoke up on the site. Stan creeping around it. I mean, those smokes have been favorable for him in most cases, but James has a great angle. As Stan looks one way, James takes him out from another. The bomb's down by that Goose. It's at the feet of the Goose. It's a nice flick from Cirque. He has 30 seconds to do this. Looking for more engagement. Goes for the bad plant, the safest plant there is. We've got James on long, so Circle, oh, never mind. We got a Kobe from Buster to shut everything down, and now AVANGAR can make it to 10 rounds, to double figures, and pick up a second AWP if they want it, as well as a Krieg. So again, still, like it's felt devastating for Evil Geniuses, but the reality is there's only a 3-round gap for the two teams.
Absolutely, yeah, and it does seem to be the case that AVANGAR have, looks like they're showing strength on their CT side. Beautiful 3K, everybody staring into the wall, just lining up and getting executed there. The one-man firing squad, Mr. Keykurtz, Sandry, sorry. And it's going to be interesting to see if they can keep that momentum going from this point. The double ops make an appearance again. It didn't go too well for them in the previous instance. Evil Genius is going for a delayed long take, it seems. I mean, leave it. The indication is that the bomb is left towards the longhouse. Sanji getting tagged through the smoke here, really representing that B split, which does create a rotation, and that means that AdreN abandoned long. And look at that, 3 players have crept out long. Beautiful timing from EG. What a round so far from them. This big swing gets caught by Jamie. He's on fire, but he's still able to do the damage. 2 kills isn't enough.
Buster has eyes on the cross. Will there be a gap for him? Oh, yes, there will be. The bomb needs to be collected, though. It's by the car on long, and they have no idea if anybody's there. They don't know if they're compromised, which is why things have really slowed down. They have no idea. They're going to have to try and play a 2-man setup, but they'll soon find that nobody is here. And they should read that there was... they don't have any idea that the bomb is there. Moving back towards that long position, but those grenades have gone. I do wonder if they forgot about them, about the bomb. They didn't realize nobody had the bomb or something like that. Okay, we've got a deep smoke. That is going to be the saving grace. I think he got caught on the wall, but somehow still survived. Cirque goes for the long plant as well. Ethan has the AWP on the site. It's actually Stan who's at long with the Krieg, but he's moving towards T-spawn. He's holding a huge off angle. He can always rotate back in case there is aggression, but no. AVANGAR are forced to save with the AWP and the M4 once again. Yeah,
absolutely. Just respecting Evil Geniuses in the position that they're in. It's definitely a position of strength. And it's never going to be nice having to just sit back and watch whilst your opponents get the 14th round like this, but it is what it is. And they'll keep the AWP alive, so they will go to James, no doubt. And the loss bonus for AVANGAR is going to go to... It would just be the second round loss bonus, so $1,900. It's not really amazing for them in terms of money. EG indeed on the cusp of victory on Dust 2. Nice entry from Stan. And again, that was beautiful because, again, it's just the way that EG calls the rotation out along. They really make it seem like it's going to be a B split. They get the B split smoke, they get 2 players fighting in middle, and at that point, AVANGAR's reading it to be a B split. AdreN comes out of position. Then when they realize it wasn't a committed play, AdreN goes back to position, and lo and behold, 3 players have already breached that position. So really gets caught on the rotation.
Can see the buy coming back in for AVANGAR, trying to do what they can. Great opportunity for Evil Geniuses. They have won 4 of the last 5 rounds, and they've planted a bomb in the last 7 rounds, I think. 6 rounds, at the very least. So they're having a lot of success in each of these rounds. Evil Geniuses 14-10 now. Cirque has the cross, doesn't go for the 152 shot. Just keeping an eye on any kind of dodgy peek. There are flashes into the B bomb site. That will at least cause AVANGAR to dump more utility at the beginning of this round, and surely the utility's short already with all the heavy losses they've been taking. That's a lot of utility just thrown. Maybe a nervous CT side as a lurk smoke to make them even more nervous. Maybe some spray with the FAMAS. So this early presence from EG is simply just forcing AVANGAR to dump a lot of utility.
Yeah, Ethan doing a good job of pressuring that B-bomb side from the upper tunnel position. Catwalk now looks to be under the control of Evil Geniuses as they arrive at around the 1-minute mark, which is pretty standard timing. Wouldn't be surprised to see an HE. There we go. Beautiful from AVANGAR. Oh, that's done some great damage. And that's one of the things you got to worry about when it can be pretty telegraphed as a team when you land on that cowl position as a T side. So you got to be really wary of those double HEs that can sometimes come in to punish that. Looking to set up for that A set piece. This will be interesting to see if AVANGAR can hold this.
This looks familiar. So Smoke executes. A little variation, actually, to what AVANGAR like to do. So they can't see what's going on the low ground, but there is an instant trade from James, which is something for AVANGAR, looking for more over the smoke. Circle, he shot down to 27, and James is forced away. He's got support in that long position. He'll have range, so EG may have to focus on the short area while James is still alive on long.
Yeah, just James' presence, though, is really amazing because it does allow AdreN to creep up close with a UMP. Ethan in middle is locking it down, and that might just kill everything. AdreN has to get a kill on the site. He can't do it in James now. There's too much distance to cover, so it's impossible. And he just needs to keep the AWP alive. But they know that he's here. He's got to keep this AWP alive. It's not going to be free. There's the first challenge. And now next is perhaps Stan from long with the AWP of his own. James looking to avoid that position entirely. Oh, Stan, I think, just barely not seeing him. He must hear Stan still running around. He hears them both running around at this point. Which way does he look first? They're going to guarantee the trade. Very well played by Evil Geniuses. They removed the AWP. That is huge. They've been very good at that.
That was really, really well timed by EG. And imagine the comms you need to have a precision double peek like that. Nice execute from Evil Geniuses. Again, those smokes up you don't always see. Take some of the CT angles away, allowing the Ts to burst through as well. And look at this, as in what could be the final buy for AVANGAR. A bunch of pistols, a FAMAS for Kika, and an MP9 for James. I feel like EG would be very deserving of a win here with the strats they've pulled out in this game.
Yeah.
The score might not tell the whole story there.
Yeah, they've just been so solid. Just teamwork, individual play, and just the match preparation, everything from... and also just Dusty fundamentals, just so solid. And Evil Geniuses looking to go for a B split here. The quick pop flash there for the double door position. 3 players in the B site. These are the rounds which look unlikely, but sometimes there's just some magical quality to them when you have these pistols. Kika, slight gap there. Tarek takes one down in the B-bomb side. Does that give Evil Geniuses a sense of comfort? The timing from Kika is really strong. He only gets a single kill, though.
Ooh, okay, well, Buster is making it doable, but it's not really likely, is it? And now AdreN is alone. He'll get taken out immediately, and it'll be 16-10 for Evil Geniuses. A very deserved win, I think it's fair to say. It was a great performance. It's fantastic to watch from their perspective, dominating AVANGAR in a great many rounds, forcing them to rotate and play completely outside of their normal wheelhouse.
Yeah, I think so. I think EG is just such a difficult team to deal with, just in terms of just... They have this volatility when you're playing against them, where they can just have one player just go off. Like Cirque, for example, we see him at the beginning with that scout, gets that headshot straight away. It causes problems, just disrupts your flow. And also, let's not forget how strong they are when they anchor bomb sites. They're just so difficult to kill. Yeah,
that's the EG you want to see, especially with the mixed results recently, the maps they dropped, the matches they dropped. That would be disappointing for some. That's a great way to start things off. I think we see some hints that they've been working with the upgraded weapons like the Glil and the FAMAS there. We saw a lot of Glils immediately on the T side, and I'm sure we'll see more of that as the tournament continues as well. So we'll have to keep an eye on how they're able to utilize those new weapons. As for AVANGAR, that one's got to be quite shocking for them. They were clearly hard counter-stratted across that game. They were given mid doors if they wanted them on the T side, but they just weren't able to get into the bomb side. They were just kind of stuck. They were just waiting for something which never came, and it was just a devastating game after game. They tried to change things up, put 4 in tunnel, but still didn't quite get there. But that's enough talking from us for now. We're going to head over to Sue.
Thank you very much, guys. Congratulations. Tarek EG is starting off with a victory, and it was a relatively smooth victory, especially on that first half. Walk us through it.
Yeah, we had a really good start. That was probably one of our better halves in recent times. So I think all of us were happy with that going into the second half. And it was definitely important that we had so many rounds on the CT side. And yeah, we did good.
It just felt like no matter what AVANGAR threw out on that T side, felt like you guys were prepared and shut it down. From your perspective, did you know what to expect, or what do you think made it as smooth as it was?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of both things. Like, we knew what to expect, but also we played really well, and that strong start definitely helped us a lot. I think momentum, like starting off our games, is something that we've been struggling with. So I think we're really happy that that match we were able to, get a strong start and then go into the second half with a lead.
Now, EG has had such a ridiculous schedule in the past few months. Even this month alone, you guys went from China back home, back to China, and now you're here in Dallas. So talk to us a little bit about how that travel has affected your play at all. Is the jet lag affecting you guys?
Yeah, I think for next year, we're definitely going to reevaluate how we plan out our events, because this year we kind of overdid it for sure with all the events that we traveled to, and it definitely does take a toll on you, like mentally and on your body, with all the travel that we do. So we want to make sure that next year we're a little smarter about the events we go to, and if we are going to multiple events, that we're not traveling across the world back and forth. So yeah.
Now, looking at this group, you're starting off with the victory, and the other two teams are NIP and Liquid. Knowing that those are the other two teams that you may potentially face, what do you feel about your chances on making it out of the group in first place?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really exciting match, especially if we do play Liquid. I think it'll be really hype. So hopefully we play Liquid, because I think it'll be a fun match. And they've been preparing a lot leading up to this LAN, so I'm sure they're going to, be playing really well. So let's see how they do. And whoever it is, we're going to be ready.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, guys. We are going to head to a short break. When we come back, that very match is coming up next. It's NIP taking on Liquid.